Hello and welcome to the preliminary matches for Polaris 28 from the Doncaster Dome. I'm Tom Barlow, I'll be joined by Jan Strauss and guest commentator Vanessa English. Let's take a look at our preliminary bouts. We have some fantastic matchups coming up, 13 in total, and make sure that you stick around for our final two battles featuring Shane Fishman and Shane Curtis, the Battle of the Shanes, and Jack Sear and Julian Espinosa. They are going to be absolutely fantastic, as will all the others, I'm sure. So our first match is featuring Charles Reindorf and Arren. Let's throw over to Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Doncaster Dome here in the United Kingdom, where we present to you Polaris 28. Let's get the action started and welcome our first fighter out of the blue corner, Charles Reindorf. And now let's welcome his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Arren Gurnhill. Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 6 feet 1 inches tall, official weight 92.5 kilos. Representing Escapology from the United Kingdom, please welcome Charles Reindorf. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, official weight 92 kilos. Representing Carlson Gracie Hull from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Arren Gurnhill.
And off we go. Starting off with a very
sweaty
matchup.
Yeah, very interesting. So obviously Charles is one of my students. Charles is an absolute monster. He's one of those young kids, super athletic, and a really, really hot prospect. He's currently only a blue belt, but he's competing almost every weekend, winning regularly. And it's going to be great to see him on the show and see how he performs. He's an absolute terror in the gym.
You can already see like his physical stature. Like as soon as he walks out,
Yeah, really nice little almost guard pass there from Arren. We got deep into it, dropped that head, forced Charles to really work hard. But yeah, Charles is super athletic. He's one of those kids who's very coachable as well. Like you tell him to do something, he almost instantly does it. Or if he sees something, he'll try and do it pretty much straight away.
Looks like he's fishing maybe for a little arm drag here.
Yeah. Nice little pass again from Arren. He's dropping that head low, forcing Charles to recover. Arren's a purple belt, been training around about 3 years. Trains up with Carlson Gracie Hull, obviously with Owen Livesey, who we'll be seeing later in the main show.
Sounds like they've brought a great crowd over. There was a big cheer from the audience, from their team.
Yeah.
Arren's trying to get some pressure over here, but Charles's legs look incredibly long. Looks like they're going to be difficult to get past.
Yeah, it looked like he was kind of going for that crazy dog grip for a moment. But Charles doing a good job of using that knee shield, trying up the leg. It looks like Charles is trying to like use the arm drag maybe to wrestle up, get underneath, and then get on top. He's got great passing. Needs to be careful of the guillotine in the front headlock position. I did watch some footage of Arren, and Arren had some
maybe a double leg here.
Yeah, nice sprawl though. Nice little entry from Charles. He's up on the body.
Really doing well at using his head to turn that corner.
And you can see on Charles's face just how kind of relaxed he is. He's going to try and step around for the armbar. Has to be careful now. This is a good position here. But you can see Charles is able to just kind of almost duck underneath and prevent that grip and then pull his arm out.
And here he is safe.
Yeah, nice butterfly, nice kind of recovery from Arren straight into that butterfly position. Charles staying low and looking to pass again.
Can't quite see where his arm is here, whether Arren has it controlled or...
Yeah, it looked like Arren was trying to like kind of almost keep it across the body to prevent the control. Charles sprawling out hard. Nice!
Nice.
Yeah, really nice little back and forth match from these guys. Charles again working hard, throwing those legs over.
Arren did a good job there of shifting his hips to stop the space from being created.
Yeah, so these preliminary matches are going to be scored under the typical Polaris system with 3 judges and 3 different periods. Judges will be rewarding on submission attempts, control, things like that. It's really back and forth. I wouldn't know who would kind of won that first part of the match. Both got the sweep reversal. Charles almost got the pass. Charles now having to work hard to regain position. Needs to get that arm back from across his body. Doesn't want to get trapped here. It's not a comfortable position to be in. It'd be better if he started kind of turning towards his side so he could pull his elbow underneath.
With 6 minutes left of the match, let's hope he can recover.
Yeah.
Nicely.
Good, getting back into his guard. But I mean, that was what needs to watch that front guillotine again. Looks like Arren's going into the position. Charles using it. Nice. Now Arren could use this to get back up on top. Charles having to walk around to the side, looking at defending. Charles is very tricky to submit. There's that high elbow position again. Charles gets out. Passed over straight away.
Possible look for a back take here. Oh no, he's got the Kimura.
He does have the Kimura grip, but Charles might turn this into a back take. Up into the mount. Really, Arren needs to let go of that grip. Like if he's not got if he's not got the submission from the better position that he had, he's definitely not going to get it when the guy's in mount. And all it's going to do is allow Charles to get to a better position. So interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how the judges score that, because obviously Charles was in the submission when he passed and when he went over to mount. I'm pretty sure that my partner, wife, and also coach Chelsea is going to tell him to go to the gift wrap here. which is a great controlling position for the gis and for the no-gis.
It looked like he was trying to go for a no-gi Ezekiel then.
Potentially, yeah. I think he's just trying to set up this position and force Arren to turn a little bit more, which he's done. And then from there, he can look to chair sit and go to the back. Arren's done a great job of forcing those arms high, though. You know, it's not really showing that back exposure. But, you know, Charles is in that great position. He's getting this underhook. He's going to work it up high now. And he's going to keep working on this. It's very tiring to keep defending that underhook and pressure.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of just taking his time and, you know, not rushing into anything.
Yeah.
He does still have 4 minutes left, so he can maintain this control. Oh, well done. Arren managed to escape.
Arren's got this grip as well on the arm, which is underneath now. Charles is going to power through it. Good reversal, though, from Arren. You know, it was a tough position for him to be in. He did a great job just defending, staying patient.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then when Charles got a little bit out of position, he bridged.
So close guard now here to start.
Yeah. Really nice jiu-jitsu from both guys, in all honesty. It's a really nice match to watch. A lot of back and forth action.
Close guard is always quite difficult in the no-gi, especially when you've got no shirt on, I'd imagine.
The shirt thing is an interesting one because it actually changes the dynamic of how you play jiu-jitsu because there's less friction. Particularly later in the match, it gets a lot slippier. So it can be even challenging to create pressure to like do something like stand up because the person just slides away from you.
Yeah.
Like Charles just sitting up, reaching for that Kimura and guillotine. There you can kind of see it, how easily Arren's head slipped out from that position.
Yeah.
Charles now working for that V arm lock, but again, the violin arm lock. But again, you can see Arren was able just to slip through straight away.
He's got his feet straight back in for open guard play.
Yeah, I think the corner I could hear was telling Charles to start picking up the pace. You know, he doesn't even seem to be breathing particularly hard at the moment, so that is definitely a good idea for him to do. Nice pass by Arren, but Charles going belly down. Needs to be careful of that pass here.
Oh, goodness.
Arren doing a great job of mounting. A bit of a mistake there from Charles.
How the tables are turning in this match is incredible. I don't know how the judges are going to score this.
Yeah, I think, you know, potentially that mount and the control. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not judging in honesty because there was so much that happened in that middle period, and now in the second or the third period, you know, Arren's up in the mount. Charles is trying to use that kipping escape, and still very relaxed, keeping his elbows very disciplined and tight, almost into a triangle. He has to be super careful. Turns that corner.
He's managed to turn the corner nicely.
There he goes, passing through. But this is also good for Arren. You know, that shirtlessness is going to make it hard for him for Charles to control him. Charles needs to be careful of that leg. I would say that this is a bad position for Arren to be in. He's very flat, doesn't have the angle to elevate. One of the things that I'll say about Charles is he does do a lot more gi competition at the moment than he does no gi.
He's managed to smash through that quite nicely.
Done a good job. Needs to push the foot away, get inside. This is a nice position using that high crotch on the inside. It'll make it hard for him to stand up. I'd like to see Charles starting to go a little bit faster. There, he's trying to go in towards the triangle and in towards the that kind of belly down armbar position. Man, a great match to start off the card, though.
That's brilliant.
Nice pass there from Arren. Charles forced to invert again, but this is how he lost the position last time. Charles using that shin very, very well. Nice reversal over the top from Charles. Needs to avoid the triangle, but Arren's still on the back here.
Looking for a choke.
I don't think he's going to get this head and arm position. It'd be better if he focused on the triangle more, or at least use the threat of this to go to the arm triangle. I think right now, if I was coaching Charles, I'd really like him to do something to, well, number one, I'd like him to get that arm out, but number two, I'd like him to be able to do something that's going to stamp the decision in the judge's mind. Like, Arren's been doing a great job in this round. Charles needs to do something, explode, open that guard, start to use some real passing. Falling back on the footlock. Good, he's going to try and do it. Arren's doing a good job of hand fighting here. Charles needs to circle that grip free. Charles just going to try and go belly down. If he can make Arren defend from this wouldn't be a bad thing in the judge's eyes. Slips out. Arren going back on the foot again. Charles going back on the foot again.
We've got 25 seconds left. Will he manage to get the foot? Like,
Charles
it looks very
switching to the heel hook. Going back on that heel again. Trying to rotate, but it's so slippy now, it's going to be hard to do. Charles doing a good job going back on that foot again now.
10 seconds. The crowd's going wild.
Nice job, guys. Really great. Oh, now Charles is on the inside position. He's going to go towards the toe hold. He needs to get his hand lower towards the feet.
And there we have it.
Man, what a great match. Really great
that
match
was really
to start the card. I'm really interested to see how the judges score that. They both had really dominant portions of the match. They're both in mount. Yeah, we're gonna take a couple of look at some replays right now. This is that, I think, the initial shot from Charles. He did a great job getting under the hips, lifting up.
Great use of his head to turn this corner here.
Very much so.
Get a top position. Very nice.
Yeah, this was the guillotine that Arren had. It looked like it was pretty tight almost. He doesn't really seem to have the hands lock. It's more just underneath the neck. And then Charles did a good job of passing. And then this is that interesting period where he had that submission, but Charles managed to end up in mount. So again, very interested to see how they score this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards, and they see it for your winner, Arren Gurnhill.
So Arren gets the decision. Honestly, fair decision. He did a lot of great things in the match. Just comes out to the judges scored it. I'd love to see them both back on the show. I think they had a great match.
Exciting fighters.
Yeah.
Really
Lots of back and forth battles. It was really nice.
Fully kit out the gym with the best match you've ever seen. Completely upgraded the match space by about 20 times. Absolutely outdone themselves with everything that they've done. A sprung floor with best match you can get, Zebra. It's unbelievable what they've done. Honestly, I've never walked on a mat that's like this before. Cannot wait to watch the reaction of all the fight team as they come in and see it for the first time.
Glad this is it.
It's really special, isn't it?
Sound, isn't it?
The biggest moment of our whole gym's life was at that night for us all.
I can't wait to train on them now.
So our next match is going to feature Craig Young fighting out Mataleao Bradford versus Jared Eaton from Scramble Academy Leeds. Both these gentlemen brown belts fighting at 93 kilos. Let's throw it over to our announcer.
Let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, Craig Young. And now let's welcome, fighting of the red corner, Jed Eaton. Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 6 feet tall, official weight 90 kilos. Representing Mataleo Bradford from the United Kingdom, please welcome Craig Young. And now his opponent out of the red corner. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, official weight 90.3 kilos. Representing Scramble Academy Leeds from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Jed Eaton.
Straight into a guard pull there.
Yeah, guard pull / takedown. I'm not sure how we'd score that. We're actually going to see coaches from both these academies on a little bit later. We have Fred Greenall coming up on the prelims, who's coach at Scramble Academy Leeds, and Ben Bennett, who's on the main card fighting Santeri.
Craig working to get under here, maybe for a deep half guard.
Yeah, he's got that lockdown position. He's probably might be going forward towards that like kind of electric chair sweep. And obviously, Jared needs to be a little bit aware of that when he's underneath the leg.
Yeah, I feel you have to kind of deal with this lockdown position before you end up progressing to pass, right?
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to pass. Well, you can't really pass through that. You have to take that away. You need to back up a little bit to relieve the pressure, and then you can start freeing up your leg.
Exactly.
Now, Jared's gone a little bit longer. Losing top position, interesting. See Jared trying to get deep in that underhook position, but the knee shield of Craig is preventing him. We've gone back down to the lockdown into the single leg X.
It's quite difficult to
yeah, onto the straight foot lock. Yeah, it's forcing Jared to defend. He's into a almost like a heel hook position here. He's transitioning
into
to the knee bar almost. Now you can see him going towards the feet, starting to try and attack a leg.
Craig quite obviously wants to stay in his back here. He doesn't want to be on top, right?
So Jared's trying to like smash through that knee shield, which is going to be a hard thing to do. You need to work around it. So I'm trying to open it out to the side to then get chest to chest.
He did kind of elevate the legs slightly, which would have taken away that pressure, but then he's kind of back down into this position again.
Looks like almost like he's going for a triangle / omoplata type position.
Yeah.
And then back into this low knee shield. Or Z-guard.
Z-guard.
I think that's what all the kids are calling it, yeah. Yeah.
Goes Z over Z?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting choice.
I think that's just because how I first heard it.
An interesting shield there from Craig.
Yeah.
Like a vertical shield, sorry, rather than horizontal.
You see him trying to. It looks like he's trying to walk the hips back without getting past the knee line, or past that knee shield, and then he can go into it. But
Craig
immediately,
hunting
Craig.
for this triangle.
Yeah, every time he does do that, he looks like he sets up the triangle like an omoplata-y position.
Sitting back into the middle, I assume in like a reverse heaver position.
I'd like to see like a little bit more activity from both guys. Like it's kind of a little bit stalemated at the moment. Seems like Craig's just waiting on Jared to put himself into a bad position and then attack rather than being, initiating any of the offense. And Jared doesn't seem to be able to quite get anything going right now with that knee shield in place.
It'd be nice to see Jared kind of come up a bit higher and just slide this knee through.
Yeah.
But I think maybe he's tried that a couple of times, which is when Craig ends up in the reverse del heaver, but he'll have to control that bottom leg.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be...
Here he goes.
That's a better position. Yeah, this is where he was getting off balance, though. And that's because he's very, like, tripoded up, but also Craig's still in such a tight little ball. Oh, nice little pass through.
So if you see he neglected to control that arm, which allowed Craig to get that space, and whether he did that to try to bait the back, I'm not sure.
Yeah. That should give Jared a little bit of confidence now that he's got that deep and been able to get past. He just needs to start working to do it again. Falling in towards the footlock. I mean, not a bad strategy, even though we're into the second period. So at least he's attacking with submissions. Craig looking kind of reluctant to come up on top, though. Happy to be playing off his back and working from this knee shield position. Or Z guard.
We can call it a Z guard.
We can call it a Z guard.
We can call it Z guard. Just for tonight.
Just for tonight.
And turning the hips to try to... That's going to be a very difficult way to smash this the Z guard down, but he's come up again.
Yeah, and he's gotten that inside position, looking for the head again.
But he's neglecting this arm again, which is allowing Craig to kind of... Well, he tried to invert under.
Yeah, if he doesn't do something about this, you're talking about the right arm, right, Vanessa?
Yes, yeah.
If he doesn't do anything with that, it keeps that frame. It's going to be there's no space for him to pass into, essentially. But again, Craig's gone very much on just the defensive now. There's not been a lot of offensive work from him.
They have just around 4 minutes left of this match.
Yeah. You see Jared just trying to push that knee out the way. Looks like he was potentially going to try and fall back on the foot again. He's inside now. He's removed the knee, which is good. Has to keep it.
He's using this arm here to stop the knee going back in, but there we go.
Yeah.
So this is nice.
You see that bottom arm is still causing him problems, though.
Yeah.
And again, Craig just able to invert slightly, re-pummel his legs. So it looks like Craig's looking up at the clock. He could be potentially trying to wait to the third round to start working a little bit harder. Almost into that flattened half guard. Back to the knee shield.
Craig managing to get that bottom leg back in like straight away. Oh, Oliver is calling.
Yeah. We do want to see a little bit more activity.
Yeah, I think that was a good call from Ollie there.
I agree, Neither guy was able to progress. I'd like to see, honestly, maybe Jared just start pulling guard. We've seen that Craig is very reluctant to go. And if Craig sits to the bottom, technically he's going to give up the sweep at that point.
Yeah.
He has top position right now. He needs to be working from that to pass. Just sitting down is just a very negative thing to do. It's not going to reward, like, the judges won't reward that kind of behavior. You see Jared looking for the arm drag. Keeping good head positioning. Almost onto the guillotine was Craig. Yeah, and there you see immediately he drops back to that half guard position.
So I would go into Jared's favour for the judges.
Yeah, I would think so. Again, Jared needs to do something with this, He needs to pummel this arm inside. Break it off the grip on the ankle. Little V-lock there.
Pushing that shoulder to the floor.
Just about 2 minutes left. Let's see if Craig's going to use this position. I think it looked like Jared went on the steamer lock there for a second.
Braulio was here, had gone wild.
Oh, I know, yeah. It's interesting that we don't actually see more steamer locks because they're such a great little...
I think we might later.
Oh, you think?
Yes, Santeri.
Santeri does love an esteem lock, yeah.
Quite a lot, so
yeah.
Get tuned in for that, guys.
Yeah. Have you trained with Santeri?
I haven't, no, but I've watched his matches.
Yeah, I trained with him a while ago, back when he was a relatively new black belt. He's been doing fantastically recently. You know, really his game is upped a lot. Winning ADCC trials was fantastic for him. I see him. Jared dropping back on that foot. Jared's showing a much more like three-dimensional approach to grappling. He's coming up and passing, falling back on the legs. He was looking to do takedowns earlier. Whereas we're seeing more of this, like just lay on the back, create that knee shield, try and work from there.
Well, we've got a pass here from
that persistent
from
work has paid off for Jared. Again,
potential back take, yeah, if he can get his chest behind that shoulder.
Yeah, nice recovery there.
To get the,
just slid those
back.
hips away. A little bit of leg pummeling from Jared, back up to that knee slide again. Craig looked at the clock and started to go...
Oh, possible knee bars.
Yeah.
An attempt, but Craig managed to slip out
We're
that
now going to go into 50-50.
Pretty easily.
Interesting. This is probably going to favour Jared, in all honesty. You know, he's had the better round, and unless Craig can actually submit him from this position, it's going to allow Jared to keep working on that foot. You can see that Craig is...
some bite on that, but
yeah,
just a little too late.
Yeah.
We'll let the judges decide. Thank goodness we don't have to.
Yes, absolutely, Vanessa. I would not want to be in their place. So let's take a little look at some of the action. This was that, honestly, the first period was a great period for Craig. He had this deep leg lock that he was working in, really trying to finish it. You can see the focus on his face. Whether he used a little bit too much energy trying to get that and blew his cardio a little bit, maybe. But then it really switched more towards Jared. He was doing a lot more of the productive work, attacking the legs, looking to pass, even getting the pass a couple of times as well.
Yeah. Over to the judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards, and they see it for your winner, Jed Hue.
So I decided to start training jiu-jitsu when I was really young. I was watching the UFC one day on a pay-per-view and I got inspired by the combat sports since then. Jiu-jitsu has impacted my life by keeping me disciplined and keeping me on track with my external life goals as well. It keeps me disciplined and keeps me out of trouble as well. It's like, it gives me a long-term goal to work towards. Warrior has been really helpful in terms of supplying me with the correct supplements necessary for training, so a lot of pre-workouts, a lot of post-workout nutrition. So I always feel confident knowing that I've prepared properly for fight with my nutrition and my training, knowing that I'm faster, stronger and fitter than anyone else that steps on the mat with me.
Okay, so our next matchup is Kieran O'Brien and Danny Ball. Danny Ball coming out of Doncaster Martial Arts, sure to be the hometown favourite.
Let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, Kieran O'Brien. And now let's welcome, fighting in the red corner, Danny Ball. Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, official weight 70.2 kilos. Representing Kaizen Academy Lancaster from the United Kingdom, please welcome Kieran O'Brien. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, official weight 70.3 kilos. Representing Doncaster Martial Arts Center from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Danny Ball.
This match is brought to you by Warrior, creators of the world's tastiest protein bar. Try Warrior Crunch today. Fast guard pull there by Kieran.
I will just say it's fantastic. Ooh, to a triangle. I will forget what I was just about to say because that was a really nice setup to a triangle. We potentially could see a finish to the match.
Very fast submission. It looks like Danny's got that arm on the inside, but even with it, if he can get the shoulder into the neck, he can still finish it. It's a great angle for Kieran.
This looks good. He can pull his head. Maybe he's feeling like it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great position. That arm is really all that's kind of saving Danny at the moment. He might have a little bit of space where he's kind of able to breathe backwards. But Kieran was just checking he was still conscious there for a second.
Yeah.
And great start for the match for Kieran. Needs to be patient, doesn't want to burn his legs out too much if he's not on that choke.
No. I wonder if Danny can feel there's a little bit of space, and like you say, he's got his hand in there.
Yeah, it looks like the shoulder's not really in.
Oh, there's not anymore. He's got the tap. That was fantastic.
Beautiful work from Kieran. So let's take a quick look at that triangle.
Very short replay.
Yeah, very short. Got into the close guard. And then just the old school hip bump, straight into the triangle.
Classic.
Yeah, and then slowly work towards getting that angle. And gets the submission. Beautiful work from Kieran. Very nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by tap out due to a triangle choke, Kieran O'Brien.
Yeah, I'm trying. Once a week. Yeah, we gotta do more. Okay, so breakfast today. Give lemon lime, and then I will pay for this later. Hey, hi. Oh. Yeah. Pajamas stay on until the very last second. Okay, you gotta stay as warm as possible.
Like people that wait on the like baggage area and we rub the bag while you're on top. Oh, yeah.
unorthodox warm-up that everyone teases me for every day. Just done it for so many days now, it just feels really... I feel like I'm definitely just gonna just die if I don't do it before.
I'll show a bit on Smash Pass, that's the thing we're working with, and then... So we just finished ADCC trials, so for most people they're kind of just winding down, relaxing their training a little bit, because there's, it's a year and a half till the next trial, so it's really just about working some new skills and building that. But then we've got a few people who have qualified for ADCC, or like Levi's got a super fight coming up in 3 weeks' time with Mateus. So for those guys, it's a bit different. So it's a bit of an open training session. People got to choose which positions they wanted to work on with situational training. So obviously, for someone like Levi, his opponent is excellent at particularly footlocks, straight footlock and the Aoki lock. So Levi's been doing some positional work about not getting there and also getting out of that position, as well as just forcing his game on his opponent. Most of the time you don't want to think too much about what your opponent does and just make sure you do what you do well. When you fight a specialist like this, it is good to just spend a bit of extra time like knowing that what they do, getting your training partners to do that so that you are comfortable in the position and you're defending early.
Yeah, upcoming match is the title fight, 77 kilos against Mateus Szczynski. And yeah, Polaris basically contacted me about a month ago and asked me if I wanted to fight for the title. Immediately I said yes, because at the end of the last event I sort of wanted to just get back on as soon as possible. I had such a fun time competing on the show, so yeah, as soon as they messaged me I was like, for sure, let's go. I know he has good leg locks. He has a good straight foot lock. And I don't know about anything of him personally, but I know a lot about his jiu-jitsu. I've seen like all of his matches already, pretty much, I can find. In a tournament structure, I have to consider the possibilities of who I might compete against, and then I will game plan for the people I have the highest likelihood of competing against. But obviously one single fight is very simple. All I have to do is study one person, game plan for one person, and it just makes everything a lot easier. I think he's going to be trying to go for leg locks, and I'm going to be trying to take his back. How I'm going to get to the back, I'm not sure, but I'm going to get to the back somehow. And I guess, yeah, that's what you can expect.
So they both play a pretty similar style of guard, and they're both known to be guard players. I think people will be expecting a double guard pull possibly, and Levi trying to bolo and Mateus trying to footlock, which is an interesting exchange. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Levi on top passing, and that's a part of his game not many people have seen, but he's incredible at. So I think we might see some of Levi's passing and back takes, and hopefully some bolos in there too.
Yeah, for sure. Like they can anticipate it all they want, but like they'll never anticipate it as much as the people I train with every day that are trying to stop it every single day. You know what I mean? Like it's different when you feel it, and sometimes like the fear as well of getting your back taken, like the more they're worried about it, the more they manifest it into existence. like I'm going to take your back. Like I'm going to take your back. That's going to happen. And it's sort of like quicksand. The more you resist, like the easier I'm gonna get it. Yeah. No, it'll mean a lot to win the Polaris title for sure. yeah, to be the champion of such an amazing organization will be epic. You know, it's definitely one of my biggest goals for the year is to get that belt and then hold it for sure. I think it's gonna be a really fun match. Like, you're gonna see some really beautiful jiu-jitsu either way, like no matter what happens. I know that he has a very forward style. He likes to come forwards a lot. He doesn't like to stall, and neither do I. So yeah, you're just into, like, you're in for a treat. You're gonna see beautiful transitions, and I'm gonna do something pretty, yeah.
Wait, honestly, you did it very good.
Yeah, so today it was the afternoon class, so it's a little longer than the morning class. First off, we started with some standing drills, like defending takedowns, getting to a good position, getting to the back, and then we went on rolling into the legs, and also some leg attacks from bottom position, like inverting from a reverse de la Hiva and getting into inside heel hooks. My game that I play, like, I'd say I'm more of a guard player, but I also like to pass the guard and play on top. So pretty much I go in and I feel out my opponent the first minute or so, try to see like what she's trying to do and what I can do from there, and then from there I just like see where the match goes and try to attack like different things, not staying on one thing if that thing doesn't work. So I'd say I'm pretty much like free for all, like whatever my opponent gives to me, I take. But it's also like I know what my plan is and what I'm good at. So I focus on doing what I'm good at in the match.
Now when you try to put your foot in the stand, not going the way you wanted, just let go and start.
Feels amazing. It's going to be my third time competing internationally. And it's very exciting to compete for the 70 kg title. Polaris is a very big tournament, so I'm very excited to test myself at such a high level in that competition, like go internationally more. And it's definitely very exciting to be able to compete with Polaris. Jessica, she, I believe, got silver at the European trials. So she's going to be a really tough opponent. I believe she also medaled at European Nogi and Nogi Worlds. So she's a very tough opponent, and definitely it's going to be a great match for me. And I'm very excited to share the mats with her. Yeah, so I haven't watched too many of Jessica's videos. I usually don't study my opponents too much, but I know that we're both going to be attacking the whole time, trying to get her submission, since it is a submission-only tournament. And it's definitely going to be action-packed, and I believe that we are both going to go for the win, and I hope to be able to submit her. Yeah, so the division is going to be 70 kg, but definitely I can compete at 66 or sometimes even like over 70 kg. I'm not too sure like who holds the title in those divisions, but definitely like anyone who really wants to take a match with me. I don't really like call out names, but I usually accept with whoever I can get, but definitely any of the ranked girls in 145 or around that division, like 65 to 70 kg, it's definitely, I'd love to fight them. I'm feeling really good. I don't really do training camps for specific competitions because I compete very often, like every month. So just like training regularly 5 days a week, making sure to always stay on point on all my techniques, everything, and just like keep training hard and improving daily, and yeah, getting ready for the event.
So our next matchup is Sam Barker versus Jamie Faulding. 68 kilos in the no-gis.
Let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, Sam Barker. And now let's welcome, fighting out of the red corner, Jamie Faulding. Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet, 7 inches tall, official weight 68.2 kilos. Representing Combat Base and 10th Planet Darlington. From the United Kingdom, please welcome Sam Barker. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall, official weight 68.1 kilos. Representing Doncaster Martial Arts Center. From the United Kingdom, let's welcome Jamie Faulding.
This match is sponsored by Tatami, the world's largest jiu-jitsu brand, trusted and worn by champions. So we've seen Jamie, actually the last time we were in Doncaster, had a really tough outing against Shawnee Stewart. Lost the decision, so I'm sure he's going to be looking to get it back against Sam. Nice little sit under there by Sam to try and throw off a guillotine. See, Jamie's coming out very aggressive to start. Nice posture from Sam though. Really low hips, good upright chest position. And sitting heavy on that foot.
Oh, getting a good shoulder control here.
Yeah.
But I think Sam will just be able to get his posture out of that.
Yeah, he just changed the angle, rotated his arm. It's pretty simple little escape for him.
Crushing these knees down.
Nice little recovery though from Jamie, just brought that knee back to the outside. Sam working on the head though. And using it to pass and step over at the same time. I'm sure if Dan was here, he'd have something to say about the guillotine attempt. But Jamie using it to come up on
straight
top.
To an armbar.
Straight into the armbar. It looks tight.
Ooh!
Super tight.
Win there from Jamie Faulding. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be so happy with that in front of the home crowd fans. Getting that redemption after the last outing on Polaris. Nice work.
It's really great seeing such a big home crowd as well, supporting the local athletes.
Yeah, I think we're actually pretty much sold out tonight here. Over 1,000 people bought tickets.
The energy in here is wild.
Yeah, and it's only going to get better as we get onto our main card. Make sure you check that out on Fight Pass. I think it's going to be starting around 7 p.m. if I'm correct.
I think 6.
6 p.m. Nice. This is the initial guillotine. Jamie did a good job catching it. Sam just defending. Sam looked like he was doing a good job on top. He had a good positioning. then the arm just got a little bit extended. Beautiful little transition there, forcing Sam to sat.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by tap out due to an armbar, Jamie Faulding.
When you fight for a position and you've cleared that position, you shout the word reorg. And you all come together in all-round defence. No matter what's just happened, like good or bad, you move forward with a positive mindset.
Reorg to me is about belonging and helping people that are in a bad place to get to a better place through shared hardship, you know, on the mats and off the mats.
And that was it for me. That was like, that's it. Reorg. We're going to come together and we're going to move forward using jiu-jitsu to a better place.
Passing on, I think, knowledge and experience to people that need it and helping as many people as we can.
So our next match features two Polaris veterans, Christian Ozbek and Jack Hassard. Don't expect to see much guard pulling in this match. It's going to be incredibly exciting, I'm sure, and full of packed full of takedowns.
Let's welcome, fighting in the blue corner, Christian Ozbek.
And first athlete making his way to the mat is Christian Ozbek, aka the Wizard of Ozbek. You know, I only got that. I didn't understand that nickname for ages. I only got it the other day. Is it the Wizard of Oz?
You only just got that?
Yeah, I only just got it. It's a good nickname. For a good grappler, we saw him make his Polaris debut at the last Polaris event, Polaris 27, where he took on Shane Price in Wales and put on an absolute wrestling and judo clinic. Very, very exciting, very dynamic grappler, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him back on the Polaris mats.
And now let's welcome, fighting at the red corner, Jack Hassard.
And his opponent tonight, training out of Carson Gracie Hull, is Jack Hassard. Also making his second appearance on Polaris tonight. Made his Polaris debut at Polaris 26, where he picked up a decision victory over Abraham Dannan, who we're also going to see a little bit later. Both of these guys come in with strong stand-up wrestling pedigrees. So yeah, don't expect to see any guard pulls.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall, official weight 82.3 kilos. Representing Submission Grappling Club, RGA, and London Shoot Fighters from Greece. Please welcome Christian Ozbek. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall, official weight 82.5 kilos. Representing Carlson Gracie Hull from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Jack Hassard.
So Polaris is sponsored by Zebra, the world's leading training facility outfitter. Nice shot on the singles right away by Jack.
Man, I'm looking forward to this match.
That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
And Christian straight on the legs here in the 50-50.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm remembering from Jack's previous match, he was very dynamic. He was all over the place. You know, takedowns, passing. I think even some guard work as well. And he's shown that he's got some good skill.
Really nice takedowns. I mean, I guess you'd expect that coming from the gym.
I think we've seen more ground grappling in the first 40 seconds of this match than we did in the entire 10 minutes of Ozbek's first Polaris debut.
Yeah, well, I think this is kind of what happened in his in Hassard's last match. It was very, very similar kind of flow to it. With Ozbek's last one, they actually had a gentleman's agreement just to try and take each other down as many times as they possibly could.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to potentially see Christian going for a different strategy in this match. Already starting to be much more aggressive off of his back. You know, he trains with some of the best leg lockers in the world, really. One of his main training partners is Owen O'Flanagan.
Yeah, nice pass by Jack, though. Just stepping around and driving that knee slide over the top.
Yeah, you cut that angle in really, really nice.
Yeah.
Half guard back to open guard for Christian.
I feel like Christian's trying to frame away and just stand up potentially. Christian's guard looks pretty solid, you know. And typically you see with a lot of very wrestling heavy players, they don't have a well-developed guard, but, you know, Christian's doing a really good job.
Perhaps single again.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely going to go in his favour for the judges here. He's had a couple already.
Yeah, Jack looking great in the first couple of minutes of this match.
I say his reason for starting jiu-jitsu was turning up to a K1 class, but realising that he was in the wrong class, but he did it anyway.
Classic, absolutely classic way to start grappling. Do it by accident.
Nice little try and snatch that single there with the inside trip.
Into a guard pull and then wrestle up.
Yeah, it's interesting. He looked like he was going to come up on top, saw the threat of the Uchimata, and then drop back down again. I mean, that's kind of what you want to see from like jiu-jitsu, is like the dynamic interplay between guard, takedowns.
Oh, knee bar here.
Very nice entry on his knee bar.
Yeah. That is tight.
Super tight. And it looks like
the knee line has been cleared.
Yep.
Yeah, well done to Jack there.
Jack's going to try and use this to get top position, but with Christian holding onto that leg, it's going to be difficult to do. Both these guys are going to fight hard to try and finish on top here.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird entanglement with the legs. It's going to be difficult for them both to extract their feet and get any stability on top.
I mean, I will mention to anyone listening, there has been a bit of a change of the rule set over the last couple of Polarises. We used to be in, the judging criteria has been primarily on submission attempts, have been favoured heavily over any other sort of transition. That's no longer the case. In order to try and stop people from just sort of gaming the system by just going for submissions, now any action is being looked at essentially equally. So the knee bar, the takedowns, the guard passing, all of these things are going to be looked at in relatively the same sort of
Yeah, I think it's a positive change, so we don't see matches where, you know, guys getting completely dominated, that they snatch a weak submission and win that part of the match.
I agree. Another single leg there.
Yeah, beautifully defended. It looked like Christian went for that kind of Kanebasami jump.
He's done that. He's done that about 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah, Jack's hips are just too far away, and he's able just to sprawl out on it.
I mean, I'm a little bit surprised. I'm a little bit surprised to see Ozbek sort of concede these takedowns without that much resistance. He seems very happy to play off his back.
Maybe he's just trying to show a different facet of his game.
I mean, it really does look like that.
One-sided, right?
I mean, perhaps any criticism of his Polaris debut was that he wasn't showing that much
it was
fighting.
just a takedown match rather than an actual grappling match.
I
right?
loved it though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely fun. Saw the referee telling him to stay in the center of the match, center of the mat.
Yeah, tempter a float throw by there.
Yeah.
The one problem with grappling competitions is all of that ground fighting, in my opinion.
I'll just stand back up.
Yeah. I mean, that's the modern meta, right? Just stand up.
Yeah. The Derek Lewis approach.
Oh, guard pull this time.
It looked like he tried to sit straight underneath the legs here, and he does pick up that leg of Ozbek. He's going now for a straight ankle.
Yeah, Ozbek forced him into the outside Ashi position, which, you know, could allow him to start working towards the leg drag if he can free up the foot a little bit. We'll start to turn those hips over.
Oh, looked like Jack was going for an omoplata there for a second.
Yeah.
He's hunting the heel hook now.
Yeah, he looked like he was more on the straight kind of shotgun footlock grip, but it wasn't particularly deep. Going butterfly Ashi now, and using that to scramble up on top. Let's see how they reset this.
Stood back up, interesting.
Yeah, I think it was because it was the sweep was in the transition. Nice attempt at the trip again. I mean, the takedowns right now have been pretty much all Jack, which has been interesting.
Christian hasn't managed to...
Yeah, Christian's in this position. We saw him use this a lot in his last outing. But nice trip there.
Oh, nearly taking out the cameraman.
Yeah.
They're going to have to restart that one on the mat, surely.
Well, I think that one, the takedown started on the inside, so I'd like to see them assume pole in position, because Jack did work for that takedown, you know. The problem you often see with these guys who are, you know, very heavily wrestling judo background is they work towards the outside of the match because it can be advantageous, so they get reset in the middle.
Man, Jack is looking absolutely fantastic tonight, isn't he?
I mean, he did in his last outing as well, you know, really good game. Solid jiu-jitsu, solid takedowns. Trying to dive over into the front headlock. Nice. Nice little attempt at the back take, though, from Ozbek.
That was close.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if Christian changes up his tactics, because at the moment he's not having that much success on his feet. Anytime that he gets to a dominant, like, kind of inside control, Jack just pulls guard, starts working from there. Falling back for the foot. Yeah, it looks like he's trying to go inside and catch that. Nice, he's got hold of both legs. Working on that footlock. You can see that Jack kind of rotated his hip towards the inside. Spinning free again. Creates that scramble, diving on the back. Chasing that back now. Nice stiff arm defense.
Nearly into the leg drag, but Chris managed to wiggle out of there.
Yeah. Looking for that inside Sankaku again.
That's a nice balancing there as well from Jack.
Yeah.
Nice floaty passing.
Yeah, these entries on the legs have kind of been really the only thing that Christian's been having much success with.
There've been some tight positions, you know, that one wasn't bad. The earlier knee bar was very good. But really, Jack's been able to defend them quite nicely, and then it usually end up in a pretty decent position on top too.
I think he's doing an ever so good job at just changing his angle ever so slightly.
Yeah.
Christian on that leg again.
Yeah. You can hear, I think it's
Jed Hue.
Yeah, Jed calling for the footlock first. That controls the position, and then from there you can transition that the grip into the heel hook. If you go too early to that heel hook grip, people just spin, turn, free up the foot, and they're out.
Into 50-50 now.
Nice. Only 70 seconds left to work.
And it's been, you know, with the exception of a couple of entries on the legs, for my money, it's been all Jack Hassard.
Yeah.
Very, very impressed with his performance. Looking so composed, so fluid in his transitions and takedowns.
Working on that heel hook now. It's a decent bite that he's got. You can see that Jack's really trying to hide that foot, free that knee line.
That's interesting because in the old rule set, perhaps it would have been the other way around.
You're right.
I think that's one of the reasons they started to change it, because if you were watching this match, you would say that Jack's probably had, you know, the better exchanges, more success. And you see Jack trying to go onto the toe hold. It looked like all the twisting footlock, as we sometimes like to call it, Dan.
I mean, it is a footlock that is done by twisting, so it seems to make sense to me. Another straight ankle lock here.
Yeah.
I'd probably give Ozbek this third and final round. For my money, the first two probably go into Hassard.
Yeah. It looked like Hassard just kind of stepped off the gas a little bit in it. I mean, he was working super hard in those first 2 rounds, so it's not surprising he got a little bit tired.
Both of these guys thinking they may have won. We'll leave that down to the judges to decide. Let's have a look at some replays here. This is the knee bar entry from early on. This was a very, very strong, tight position here. All of us grimacing a little bit in the booth.
Yeah, it was a good entry, just stepping over. This was that beautiful knee tap over the top. You see Christian working on that footlock again. This is right at the end.
And like you said, you know, by the old rule set, you know, but who knows with this one? Let's find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards, and they see it for your winner, Jack Hassard.
Yep, so that's pretty much it. That's what we kind of expected. Jack looked fantastic. It was a very close match. You know, by that old rule set where they were, you know, the submission attempts were prioritized so much higher than any sort of transitions, then it almost certainly would have gone the other way. Ozbek with a lot of entries on the leg, especially in that third and final round. For my money, he probably took that third round. For the first 2 rounds, Jack just looking too dominant with the wrestling and with the transitions as well. A great performance from Jack Hassard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I decided to start training jiu-jitsu when I was really young. I was watching the UFC one day on a pay-per-view, and I got inspired by the combat sports since then. Jiu-jitsu's impacted in my life by keeping me disciplined and keeping me on track with my external life goals as well. It keeps me disciplined and keeps me out of trouble as well. It's like, it gives me a long-term goal to work towards. The Warrior has been really helpful in terms of supplying me with the correct supplements necessary for training, so a lot of pre-workouts, a lot of post-workout nutrition. So I always feel confident knowing that I've prepared properly for fight with my nutrition and with my training, knowing that I'm faster, stronger and fitter than anyone else that steps on the mat with me.
So in our next match, we have Robyn Lucas versus Amy Derwanz. Robyn, we saw recently on Polaris, absolute fantastic performance, winning by head and arm choke. Amy is another fantastic grappling talent as well. Lots of wins on other regional shows.
Let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, Robyn Lucas.
First athlete making their walk to the mat is Robyn Lucas, 32 years old, always bringing lots of energy to the grappling scene. We saw her make her debut just on the last Polaris in Wales, where she took on Stevie Ray. She is a dangerous submission hunter. She managed to finish last match, I think it was head and arm choke that she won by, but almost by armbar earlier on in the match. Super active competitor. World's Masters champ at blue belt, double gold at Nogi Euros last year at purple belt. She's competed on Enyo, she's competed on Grapple Fest, she's competed on Polaris, and she hasn't lost a fight in any of those so far.
And now let's welcome, fighting of the red corner, Amy Derwanz.
And her opponent tonight, competing have AVT, is Amy Derwanz. She is making her second appearance on Polaris tonight. She was competing here in Doncaster Dome last year on Polaris 23, where she dropped a close decision to Rosie Clark. Very experienced competitor is Rosie Clark. She has plenty of show experience outside of Polaris. She's 4-0 on, she's got 4 wins at the very least on Grapple Fest, so no stranger to a big grappling shot like this.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. She stands 5 feet 3 inches tall, official weight 57.3 kilos. Representing Roger Gracie from the United Kingdom, please welcome Robyn Lucas. And now her opponent in the red corner. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, official weight 59.7 kilos. Representing AVT from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Amy Derwanz.
First women's match of the evening.
These girls are both from MMA backgrounds, so I imagine we're going to see some takedowns here. It's coming out pretty aggressive already.
Yeah, this is pretty standard for both of these women.
Nice single into that ankle pick.
Robyn has a very aggressive, active submission-orientated guard, so if she gets to that position, certainly be looking out for angle changes for arm bars, triangles, stuff like that. But so far, a nice position for Amy on top.
Yeah, she's really got into that head and arm position well. Just the butterfly hook's kind of defeating her pass at the moment. Amy doing a good job of just trying to pummel and windshield wipe her legs to free up her foot.
Robyn trying to advance this guard position to something where she can get a little bit more attacks in. Amy shooting this arm through. Looks like she's trying to attack a Darce choke maybe, here. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she could drop her hip towards the ground to start cinching her
hands already pretty deep here.
You got that Japanese necktie.
Oh, that's the tap.
Yeah,
wow.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Fantastic submission.
Light work for Amy. Super impressive performance there. Hopefully we can catch a replay of that.
Lovely takedown here.
Is it Japanese neckties?
I think so, yeah. I think it was.
So like a Bravo position, but you go palm to palm, use that forearm to put pressure on the head. Here you can see.
Push the head in towards
and then she just sits down
the
there
stomach. And then it forces the choke in from there. It's a weird kind of submission if you're not expecting it, you know?
Fantastic performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by tap out due to a Darce choke, Amy Derwanz.
Fantastic second showing on Polaris for Amy Derwanz.
Yeah, it's 3 quick submissions in a row. Oh, no, sorry, not quite, but we've had a couple of really fast submissions.
We've had one decision sandwiched in between 3 fast submissions there.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see, all action.
June 15th, a flyweight barn burner heats up the UFC Apex in Las Vegas.
Here we go!
Alex Perez looks to chase his performance of the night knockout with another main event win.
What a performance!
This time against undefeated Tatsuro Taira.
Most can't keep up with him.
Plus, a full fight card of action.
Oh! Big right hand.
UFC Fight Night.
Boom!
On ESPN2 and streaming on ESPN+.
So our next match is Jack Hampshaw versus Abraham Dannan.
Let's welcome, fighting at the blue corner, Jack Hampshaw.
Night. Some super fight experience on some regional shows. British no-gi gold at purple belt. Looking forward to showing off his grappling chops here tonight.
And now let's welcome, fighting out the red corner, Abraham Dannan.
And his opponent tonight, the Prince of Palestine, Abraham Dannan. Making his second appearance on the Polaris mats. Lost his first Polaris match to, who was on the last? Jack Hassard. I mean, after seeing Jack's performance tonight, we can see what a high-quality opponent he was going up against. Very, very dynamic, aggressive grappler out of Subzone Fight Academy in Manchester is Abraham Dannan. Grapple Wars middleweight champion, looking to get his first win on Polaris tonight.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, official weight 74.4 kilos, representing Counter Grappling from the United Kingdom. Please welcome Jack Hampshaw. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, official weight 75.1 kilos, representing Subzone Fight Academy from Palestine. Let's welcome Abraham Dannan.
This match is sponsored by Gentle Art Apparel, a collection of premium clothing by 10-time world champion Roger Gracie.
Immediate guard pull there from Jack. Doesn't want to engage with the wrestling of Dannan.
Oh, Dannan's towards the legs, yeah.
Turning towards a knee bar or saddle.
Yeah, he's got that inside stance, and Kaku needs to control that secondary leg.
I mean, are we going to see another super fast submission here?
We might almost see the honey stick coming into play there for a second.
Excuse me?
Yes. We saw this very recently in a match with Nicky Ryan and JT Torres. The honey stick or Philly saddle, I believe it is also known. It's a counter to the inside Sankaku. Ties up the opponent's legs.
He does, doesn't he? You'll get used to it.
He said Z-guard.
Mate, I'm worried for the. I mean, Z-guard's
I said we'll let him off.
Z-guard's okay.
Is it?
I mean, when we have our Gi Grand Prix
Oh, yeah,
our next event in September.
excited for that.
I am terrified with the words that are going to come out of that man's mouth. Terrified. It's in another language. Need a translator. Nice guard work here by Hampshaw.
Yeah, Jack's doing a great job of just sticking to that leg.
Nice sportsmanship there. So.
Some honest northern coaching there.
From Coach Cam Atakuru.
Abraham jumping on that neck again, using that underhook to control the position.
Yeah, trying to use his front headlock position in order to get the pass, and he seems to be, I mean, he's in a pretty good position here. If he can get a leg on the inside to stabilize it, nice guard regain there with that right knee on the inside by Jack.
Yeah, he's still not out of danger though. Like Abraham, you can see him working his slowly into a better position.
Jack's managed to get just enough space here to recover his guard well.
Yeah, Abraham just for a second was looking at that guillotine, but now has that underhook as well.
Jack's trying to sneak this butterfly hook in here to gain a bit more control.
Yeah. Dannan could have that the cow catch position. That's a wrestling thing, Dan. Where you have a chin strap and the underhook. It's a great position. It's a great way to control your partner.
If they're a cow.
And if you want to catch them.
I mean, who doesn't want to catch a cow?
I mean, if he can clear his, if he can clear that leg now, he's got a great position on the upper body. Far side, deep far side underhook with that right arm, front headlock with the left arm.
Yeah, he could just be cooking Jack a little bit, making him tired. You can see that Jack's head is definitely getting quite red underneath there. And then when he released it, go to the tight head and arm. He didn't.
He just wanted to cook the potato.
Yeah.
Jacket potato.
That's why I like bringing in new commentators. They bring a new flavour.
Yeah, new dynamic.
Yeah,
tasty,
poetry. Tasty, literal flavour.
Nice bit of an arm drag there from Jack.
Yeah, Jack looking very comfortable and composed off his back here with a really aggressive grappler. Tried to jump over the legs there straight to the arm bar, but second-guessed himself a little bit. Able to free the legs is Abraham.
You see the referee just telling him to pick up the pace a little bit. It looks like Dannan has slowed down since that really dynamic start. Stepping inside, you got that X position. Dannan looking for that toe hold, turning fast.
Or twisting foot or whatever we're going to call it today.
I mean, you can choose, Vanessa. It's good to have options, right?
Oh,
nice.
very
nice.
nice.
Step over triangle towards the back. Trying to work on that arm crunch position. Jack doing a good job of just pushing that foot down, though,
exactly.
right?
Very, very important moment there. If Abraham can pull that right leg out, then that triangle position is going to be very strong. It looks like he's going to try and continue to turn belly down here. And
he's got the Kimura trap.
Kimura trap. Is he going to try and get back exposure off of this?
Looks like he's trying to get that foot inside, but Jack's doing a really good job of getting rid of that. But it exposes his back, and Abraham has got a great position here, triangling around the body.
Yeah, great transition there. Expertly called by me. Oh, straight into the rear naked choke.
Straight away, nice.
Jack's doing a smart job of controlling that second arm there to stop Abraham from locking off that rear naked choke, but I mean, plenty of time on the clock to work from the back position here. And I feel that Dannan is just going to be able to break him down. Very tight body triangle. There it is. Underneath the neck, locked off there. And I think this is going to force the tap.
Ooh, I mean,
Jack's fighting it hard. He's got the hands on the inside.
Yeah, he really needs to pull.
There you go.
Oh, he's going to get it.
He's thinking about it. He's putting the pressure on. The toughness. Wow.
Yeah.
Very, very impressed.
It looked like Jack was just a little bit too low down and he couldn't quite get the right pressures to finish that choke.
I don't know. To me, it looked like his head was about to explode. I'm not quite sure how he was able to grit through that. But
I think Abraham, his arm just wasn't quite far enough. So
it was certainly a little shallow.
Yeah.
Still plenty more time. I mean, he's lost the body triangle position, straight back into it now. Abraham Dannan really taking control of this match as we move into the third and final round.
And he still has 3 minutes to work from here. I think we could see a submission here. I think.
Arms underneath the neck again.
Yeah, nice.
Jack's doing a really good job of just allowing the space, taking away the angle.
Yeah, he's also doing a nice job of working against this body triangle as well.
Able to escape from the position. Wow, very impressive. There were a few moments there where I thought he was not going to be getting out of this. And he knows that he's got some catching up to do. He's got to really push the pace to try and win this last round.
Yeah, I mean...
Down to the guard pull again. Does a good job of keeping his posture and grip fighting here. With 2 minutes left. Abraham definitely has the upper hand on the judge's decision. Jack really needs to work now. Pulling his foot back in.
Yeah, Dannan has really slowed down in this period.
I mean, he put a lot of effort into that back take, into the back control, and into the attempts to finish. I'm not sure if you've ever been there, but the times that I've had a match where I thought I'd get the finish, and you put everything into it, and then something happens. And
yeah. But then you obviously have, you know, Jack was in those positions as well. That's not an easy place to be for him.
Maybe trying to get some energy back to explode again. We've seen a couple of explosive movements here from Abraham already in the match. Watch him shoot for another triangle.
Yeah, he's looking at that back step again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I think that whole sequence started from that.
Oh, still a knee
Diving
bar.
on the leg. Nice. Looks like Jack's trying to work on his own footlock. Trying to defend hide his foot at the same time. About 40 seconds left.
Again, we saw exactly that same transition earlier on in the match too, with the spin from Abraham. Maybe coming up to wrestle here.
Yeah, you saw Abraham trying to jump into that triangle again. Deep half, looking maybe for that Kimura trap. Nice movement though by Jack getting on top.
And he's going to finish the match in sort of the best position he's been in. 3 attempts or 3 looks at that jump over the guard into an armbar or a triangle from Abraham. Every time, never quite committed to it. I'd love to see him just say screw it and go for it a little bit more, but a really solid performance from Abraham Dannan. You've got to assume that he's going to take the win there. I mean, how Jack Hampshaw survived a couple of those rear naked choke attempts, I'll never know. I was getting ready to tap myself.
It was impressive escape.
Super, super tough. A really solid debut performance for Jack, in my opinion. Just coming up against a super solid competitor in Dannan. And we'll let the judges tally up their scores and make it official.
This was that fast toe hold where he really tried to rip it around the corner. Didn't have any leg control, which is why he lost it. I'm hoping we're going to get to see that. Yeah, that's that step over. And this allowed him then to set up that Kimura grip and transition to the back.
See here, the elbow just is towards the side of the neck.
Yeah, the hand slips.
Yeah, and then Jack does a great job of just hand fighting enough to get him to release it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards, and they see it for your winner, Abraham Dannan.
As expected, Abraham Dannan picking up his first Polaris victory with a very solid, dominant performance.
So our next match features Dominic Dillon versus Danny Hughes. Dom coming out of Elements Jiu-Jitsu, Danny out of 13th Dimension.
Dom looking a little different than what I remember him.
Let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, Dom Dillon.
That's a little bit more like how I remember Dom Dillon looking. Dom Dillon, no stranger to the Polaris stage. Former MMA fighter turned pro grappler. We have seen Dom on 5 Polaris cards, starting with the original Polaris Grand Prix during COVID, if you remember that. And he came out and had a fantastic breakout performance, in my opinion, against Ross Nichols. He was sort of counted out and expected to get walked through by the highly super high level Ross Nichols, but he gave Ross a really, really tough match. He did drop that match, but it was very, very close. And since then, we've seen him multiple times pick up submission wins by Kimura's last outing versus Claudio Brundi, picked up a beautiful bulldog choke. Dom is a great grappler and super excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing him on Polaris again.
And now let's welcome, fighting in the red corner, Danny Hughes.
And his opponent tonight, making his Polaris debut, is Danny Hughes. Very active on the competition scene, both tournaments and super fights. Has had 7 matches on Grapplefest 5 and 2 in those matches out of Wigan, training out of 13th Dimension. I mean, I only thought there were 3 or 4. 13 dimensions, that is some serious stuff.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, official weight 72.2 kilos. Representing Elements Jiu-Jitsu from the United Kingdom, please welcome Dillon. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, official weight 74.2 kilos. Representing 13th Dimension from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Danny Hughes.
Polaris is sponsored by Scramble Jiu-Jitsu clothing and equipment since 2009. Check out their brand new Rollman collection in collaboration with Imanami, out now.
I mean, talking about Scramble clothes in collaboration, there's Dom Dillon, as always, rocking the Sakuraba shorts.
Yeah, and the end that flying triangle, almost giving up his back. Beautiful connections from Dom, going from one thing to the next.
Dom's one of my favorite grapplers to watch, to be honest. He's got such an unorthodox style, very much influenced by catch wrestling.
It looked like he was trying to do like a toe hold there from the bottom.
I was going to say,
he does crazy stuff, yeah.
He looked quite comfortable there, actually.
I mean, this is pretty fun because he does, of course, he's up against Danny Hughes, who's competing out of Wigan, which are renowned for the birthplace of catch wrestling, and has Darren Morris in his corner, who is one of the one of the biggest figures in sort of catch wrestling, MMA, and grappling in the north. So this is a really interesting matchup. Currently, Dominic in a solid, heavy side control position.
Yeah, putting a lot of cross-face pressure down. See Danny throwing those legs over, looking to entangle it.
Heel hook entry for Dom.
He's to
still
be
on
careful.
The legs is Hughes.
Yeah, Hughes controlling that heel to keep the entanglement. Looks like Dom's knee line's essentially free now.
Dom coming in the lighter of the two grapplers.
Secondary, secondary, don't just watch it, don't admire it. What's the drop, what's the drop?
Bit of a feeling out process in the stand up here. Drops
down
to a low ankle pick. A sit through for the armbar for Hughes. He slips off the top and Dom tries to take advantage. Isn't able to do so. Pop back to the feet.
Attempted foot trip there.
Referees tonight being really hot on calling for action, which is nice. Dom reaching for the inside single again.
Front headlock control for Hughes.
Danny's done quite well at reacting to Dom's attacks each time, but then Dom just seems kind of comfortable wherever he's landing, and here he is spinning out of that.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of really nice back take attempts for Hughes. He's not been able to secure them on Dom at all. Dom is just very dynamic in his movements. He never stays still for too long unless he really wants to try and put the pressure down. Jumping over the guard there, nice guard regain by Hughes. Knee through to pass the guard again by Dillon. Almost got it. Just needs to clear that ankle.
It's nice. I think he's going to get this pass if he's careful and don't rush it too much.
And he's investing in some upper body positioning as well, so when he clears that foot, he's going to be in a super tight position.
There we go.
Goes straight to mount here, got that elbow nice and high. This is a strong position for Dominic Dillon.
He's got the grapevines on the legs too.
Now the question is, does he try to use this position to get a double underhooks to attack the arm bar? Is he going to try and use the arm across the body to try and take the back, or is he going to try and take a head and arm choke? There's even a nasty little Kimura. If you can reach through and grab that wrist and sort of use the anchoring of the elbow on the chest there, you can actually get a sneaky little Kimura.
It's like at the moment he's just comfortable cooking him.
He's cooking him here, absolutely.
You know, that forearm across the face makes it difficult to breathe, lots of pressure down. Looks like he's trying to transition onto the head and arm. It's not the best way to...
It's not a great position to do that from, but...
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like it's the arm, you know, although it was going to be uncomfortable for Danny, it also presents a problem for Dom because it's not ideal for anything presently, not with that hand underneath the armpit.
I mean, he could switch to a gift wrap from here and look to try and get back exposure, but the arm, whilst not ideal for Hughes, it's not ideal positioning, but it's sort of ideal to stop the advancing of any other bad position. You know, if your arm's going to be across the body, this is kind of the position that you want it.
Having said that, he's probably not going to win the match from the bottom of mount.
No, almost certainly not, but there's plenty of time left.
There's 4 minutes left, nearly 5 minutes.
This is my pessimistic attitude.
I've seen crazier things.
Yeah, that's
Half
true.
guard regained by Hughes.
Yeah, he's still not in a great position because of that head and arm of Dom. He looks like he's trying to use that lockdown to relieve the pressure, which is actually not a bad use of it. It forces kind of stretches the pressure away.
And Dom passes again into the mount position. And the arm is almost clear here, and I wonder whether we're going to see Dom actually allow that hand to be freed in order to take a more advantageous position with the arm across. I mean, if I'm Dom right now, I'm going to try and switch and take a second underhook. That's exactly what I would look to do. That is, of course, the risk. Dom jumps off to the side for his bulldog choke setup and doesn't catch it, but a really nice dominant couple of minutes there for Dominic Dillon. The question is, how much effort, how much energy has Dillon used up in trying to hold that strong mount position?
Well, I mean, it didn't look like he actually tried too hard to hold the position when the scramble was initiated.
Yeah,
he was just maintaining that upper body pressure, using a lot of body weight to do that. Danny's kind of gone into a very defensive mode now. He's just like looking at Dom, not initiating any of his own attacks. Tries like an Imanari roll. Threatens with the Estima lock, forcing the unentangle.
Oh, into the single leg.
Yeah. Round to the back.
Round to the back.
Yeah, Danny looked to try to go towards that leg. Maybe Victor roll through.
Some great recovery.
Nice pressure, yeah. There's a name for that recovery, but I can't remember the name of it. You'd love it, Dan.
Tom Barlow? Can't remember the name.
It occasionally happens.
Ridiculous name for me.
It's more of a wrestling technique, and I can't remember what it is.
We'll call it a treacle roll.
A treacle roll. Yeah. Might be a funk roll. I'll have to look it up.
You watch your language. Dillon threatening those ankle picks again.
2 minutes left in the match.
I'd say Danny needs to start working now.
Yeah. I'd say this, from my recollection, this third period is quite open at the moment.
This is a takedown attempt there from Dillon.
Nice movement, though, from Danny. And Dillon just...
Danny's hit that movement 3 or 4 times really, really nicely, but against Dillon, Dillon just rolls with it and is so hard to pin down like that.
Another single leg entry.
Diving in towards that Kami Basami as Danny, but ends up giving up top position.
Danny in the Kami Basami.
Yeah, I know.
Can Danny
Basami? Nice rolling through on the legs. Could end up with top position if he keeps turning.
Done with a sniff at the back there.
Yeah.
Just over 30 seconds left in this match. And Danny's put on an admirable performance here, although I do feel like it's going to be Dominic Dillon with the decision victory.
Yeah, he's trying for that footlock now. Not enough control.
Just 10 seconds to go.
Falling back on the
Peruvian necktie.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Great performance from Dominic Dillon. Danny Hughes with his Polaris debut, looking super tough, always in the match, but unable to really get much off on Dillon.
So this is that initial jump of Dom's. There's that Imanari roll. This is one of the better attacks that Danny had, triangling that leg. Just couldn't keep control of it. And then right at the end, we saw the Peruvian necktie, something we really don't see that much on Polaris.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards, and they see it for your winner, Dillon.
As expected, Dominic Dillon with the decision victory, and yet another win on the Polaris mat. Always a pleasure to watch him compete with Polaris, and I look forward to seeing him again.
So I decided to start training jiu-jitsu when I was really young. I was watching the UFC one day on a pay-per-view, and I got inspired by the combat sports since then. Jiu-jitsu's impacted my life by keeping me disciplined and keeping me on track with my external life goals as well. It keeps me disciplined and keeps me out of trouble as well. It's like, it gives me a long-term goal to work towards. The Warrior has been really helpful in terms of supplying me with the correct supplements necessary for training, so a lot of pre-workouts, a lot of post-workout nutrition. So I always feel confident knowing that I've prepared properly for fight with my nutrition and with my training, knowing that I'm faster, stronger and fitter than anyone else that steps on the mat with me.
So our next match features Gary Priestley fighting out of Submission Factory, Scotland, and Jake Goldthorpe out of AVT. It's 64 kilos, no gis.
let's welcome fighting out of the blue corner, Gary Priestley.
First athlete making his walk to the mat is Gaz Priestley, 39 years old, out of Submission Factory in Scotland, making his Polaris debut tonight. He has trained a whole lot of other martial arts, judo, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, K1 and MMA. He has been an active competitor, recently competed on the ADCC invitation against some tough opponents.
And now let's welcome fighting at the red corner, Jake Goldthorpe.
And his opponent tonight is Jake Goldthorpe, making his second appearance on Polaris tonight. He made his debut at Polaris 23 where he defeated Adam Hart via rear naked choke. 23 years old, there is a significant age difference of about 13 years between the two. So this is going to be a bit of a youth versus experience. And should be a fun match.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, official weight 63.4 kilos. Representing Submission Factory from Scotland, please welcome Gary Priestley. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, official weight 61.3 kilos. Representing AVT from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Jake Goldthorpe.
Polaris is sponsored by Pro Sport Grappling, supplying professional event production to the world's leading grappling events. Jake might only be 23, but he's been training for 10 years, which we're starting to see a lot more of in the UK and Europe. These kids who started and are now coming into the big events with just a decade of experience. Beautiful inside trip, following it up. Nice scramble initiated by Gary, though.
Priestley immediately on the legs here.
Yeah, and straight to that outside position.
Big leg lock fan is Gary.
Yeah, trying to get it into the 50-50. See Jake doing a lot of work to avoid the position. Nice, transitioning back into those legs. Has to watch the back here.
Yeah.
The toe hold is not necessarily the best answer when someone's trying to get to your back.
Grabbing the head is nice here if he can get to his knees and take top position. Nicely done, but...
Nice following, though, from Jake as well.
Very nice.
Again, trying to keep control of that head. Nice job to pull back to guard.
I feel almost when people have been training since they were young, you can almost see it in their movements that it's just so natural.
They were forged in the fire of grappling. You can tell it when they're about 27 and can't walk anymore. Hands connected behind the back. Guillotine attempt creates a reaction from Priestley and they both stand to the feet.
Look, a big deep breath from Gary there.
Bit of a feeling out process in the stand up here. Jake sits to guard.
Yeah, it's always funny. We have that kind of chaotic first minute or so, and then everything just kind of slows down. We saw it in the last match
They
as
get
well.
their energy out a little bit and then calm down.
Gaz getting told off there for disengaging, I think, by Greg.
Yeah, it looked like he was just trying to take a minute to catch his breath.
Looking to gain some momentum for this half butterfly.
Yeah, using it to come up on top into a nice position.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Gary able to regain his guard nicely there.
It signals to the ref that he wants him back down as well.
I mean, he didn't have contact with him when they broke there.
Yeah.
I think you make a pretty good argument if he wanted to that he could get back up, which he does anyway.
We.
Vanessa, did you say we?
Sorry.
No, I'm all for it. I think the one thing we could do within the commentary booth is like a soundboard.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I could do that. I could be the soundboard.
Oh, I will fight you for control of the soundboard. You know, don't get to have your first show on Polaris and say that you're controlling the new exciting soundboard.
That's Gary trying to just step over the guard there.
On the leg
tangled on the footlock. Getting that
nasty
bend.
torque going through this foot.
Gary did a good job of stripping the heel, passing it to the other side.
Very nice work to release that leg
and then
Gary.
trying to re-entangle as well.
Nicely done there.
Oh.
Throws him off.
Nice. That was a good reaction there from Gus.
I would have loved to see him follow up with that, but very nicely done.
Yeah, that was just a just stand up moment. Just throw him off. Get over there.
That's a just get off me moment.
Yeah, get off.
Be gone.
I feel like that when I'm training with kids too.
You just throw him into the wall.
Just throw it off. Jake trying to enter that single leg X again.
To the top, he secured the top position.
Look
coming
at that triangle
around.
for a second.
Possibly a back take here.
Oh,
yeah,
Kimura.
Nice
Kimura for Gary there.
Looks like Jake's trying to use that wedge back take.
Gary's trying to attack the leg.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed with Gary's movement. He's doing everything he needs to do to avoid the really bad positions. And I mean, he's 5 minutes into a match with a kid 16 years is younger. It's pretty impressive. He's able to keep with the pace quite nicely.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of kind of managing and conserving his energy.
A bit of a telling off from the ref.
Yeah.
He wants to see activity. They want to see engagement. Nice. Roll through there for an attempt of a toe hold. Broken me down enough, Tom Barlow.
There we go. No more twisting footlocks, Dan.
Every time you say it, though, it just sounds so much better.
It just sounds wrong.
It's like an umbrella term, I'd say.
Yeah,
twisting footlock. But we can be more specific here.
We have to be more specific, Dan. We have to use our
right.
language correctly. It's important.
That is true.
Think of the children.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it is a horrible thought to think of children growing up not knowing the specifics of a toe hold versus twisting footlock.
Yeah.
What an awful world.
A truly
I dread to think
dystopian,
about it.
apocalyptic future.
But yeah, Gary's doing a great job of just kind of neutralizing Jake.
Yeah, he is.
You know, he's controlling the pace. He's not letting Jake keep the high intensity pace that he wants. That's definitely something that comes with experience, you know. Unfortunately, he needs to be getting some better offense off as well.
Priestley with the Jiu-Jitsu shorts.
Lovely inside.
Nice takedown
Nice
there.
takedown, yeah. So that
Straight
inside
into a
trip
knee
again.
slide.
Yeah, he's in a deep knee slide here. It's a good position for Jake. Needs to get him a little bit flatter and potentially work towards this.
Yeah, this is a strong position. And it's sort of, you know, we're going into the last 2.5 minutes, last quarter of this match. This is where that difference in
stepping over straight to the bar.
In age is really going to play in. He's fought at a high pace. He's on the neck here.
Yeah.
And I think this might be the second rear naked choke victory for Jake Goldthorpe in 2 appearances on Polaris. And there it is. Beautiful finish there.
Yeah, nice work from Jake.
Gary Priestley doing a great job there of hanging with the much younger black belt until he couldn't, essentially.
Yeah. Well, as soon as Jake got to that like solid connection, the dominant position where Gary couldn't disengage, you know, he did a great job of just stepping over, chasing that back, and then getting the finish very quickly in the transition.
Here we are, so just got some replays. Some really nice inside trips there.
Yeah.
A few of those from Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay looked pretty faultless throughout this match, to be honest. Never really made any mistakes. It was just Gary was very, very tough. He did everything that he needed to in a lot of these situations to avoid, you know, losing bad positions or being submitted. But eventually, Goldthorpe was able to really break him down. That tight passing position into mount onto the back, and with the finish there, really nicely done.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by tap out due to a rare naked choke, Jake Goldthorpe.
That's 2 for 2 on Polaris and with rear naked chokes for Jake Goldthorpe. Young up-and-coming grappler.
competition in sports is back. With the most international group of warriors ever. 16 mixed martial artists from 14 countries face off. I don't care how light it is.
You're fighting each other for what?
For a shot at UFC glory. And women's flyweight champion Alexa Grasso and former champion Valentina Shevchenko guiding them on their quest. It's the new season of The Ultimate Fighter, coming June 4th. Unbelievable. On ESPN and ESPN+.
So our next match is Lee Herbert fighting out Stealth Stevie Ray versus Chris White from Doncaster Martial Arts.
Let's welcome fighting out of the blue corner, Lee Herbert.
Lee Herbert, 30 years old, competing at Stealth BJJ in Manchester, making his Polaris debut tonight, and excited for it, coming off of a British Open victory at Black Belt. He has competed and has a win on Grapplefest.
And now let's welcome fighting at the red corner, Chris White.
His opponent is Chris White, and as you might be able to tell by the noise here, is a local competitor out of Doncaster Martial Arts Centre. This will be the second time that we've seen him on Polaris. Of course, he was here, competed against Liam Tan on Polaris 23 last number in Doncaster. A very, very close decision loss. A lot of people could argue that he actually won the match with a really, really nice butterfly guard. Surprised everyone with his level, and looking forward to picking up a proper win tonight.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 6 feet tall, official weight 77.5 kilos. Representing Stealth BJJ from the United Kingdom, please welcome Lee Herbert. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 6 feet 1 inches tall, official weight 77.1 kilos, representing Doncaster Martial Arts Center. From the United Kingdom, let's welcome Chris White.
So Polaris is supported by the UK BJJA, the national governing body for UK BJJ, driving progress and opportunities in all areas of jiu-jitsu.
Thanks for driving progress, UK BJJA.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
As you said, Dan.
Good butterfly
nice
guard.
butterfly guard. He's straight into the butterfly guard.
Yeah, he had a great match with Liam, if I remember correctly. It was super close.
Yeah, so I believe that match is arguably one of the matches that sort of
changed the rule set.
They encouraged the rule set change, because he was very dominant positionally, but Liam Cam was kind of going for a lot more submission attempts, even though none of them were super close.
Yeah, nice sweep there.
That was definitely something considered.
Chris.
Yeah, very, very nice butterfly guard sweep.
Loses top position though. Excellent roll through by Lee, using that chin strap.
Chris has very flexible legs.
Yeah, very
and
much
long.
so. Let's see in Lee's corner is Sam Quinn, who we'll see later on the main card, facing off against Ellis Younger. Looks like he's going for a I don't know, like a variation on Ezekiel or something for the
can opener.
From the no, from the
no, he did to open the legs there.
Just be careful not reaching too deep into that armpit.
I can tell Chris would be very awkward, like his knees and legs.
Yeah, nice step
everywhere.
over pass, forcing Chris to recover.
Lee's slowly edging into a dominant top position, trying to get this Kimura trap on top.
Yeah, it's a great control. Could use it to potentially just dive through the legs and then set up top position from there. Work towards the back or to the armbar.
But Chris manages to recover.
Yeah, Chris is very effective from this position. He does seem really long. I don't think we talked about this last time, Dan, right? Like, he just seemed like a long human being.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of sort of the dexterity, the length of dexterity and the mobility that he has in the legs, and then obviously combined with the butterfly guard techniques makes him have an excellent guard position. And I mean, you know, like we saw earlier and you noticed and mentioned, he was reversed quite easily, and that's not massively different from what we saw in the first match with him. He was getting the sweep a lot, but his ability to maintain the top position is not as strong as his ability to get to the top position.
Yeah, we see it there.
We're going to see another chance now, whether he can control this position a little bit better.
He's in a tight position now.
Yeah, this is strong.
I guess with that length, like Lee might have some chance to kind of get under him and.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is doing a good job of just starting to slide through. That elbow looks like it's blocking the slide a little bit, but the space is very open right now. Chris needs to drop his hips a little bit more. Using those legs, needs to be careful. Yeah, he's giving up the closed guard again. And it's that shoulder crunch.
Seeing the disadvantages of being a long competitor here from the top position.
That is not something I have experience of.
I can't relate.
Looking for that hip bump to triangle, maybe.
Chris
Nice
just
job.
standing up.
Yeah.
There you go. There's that reversal again, and I really think it comes down to another
there's
sweep.
that butterfly
another
sweep. Nice head position though to maintain top position.
Very nicely.
From Lee.
Yep. Very nicely done to keep that base. But I think what it really comes down to for Chris is that he just doesn't fight the reversals very much.
Yeah.
He allows them. I mean, in that instance, I think he feels so comfortable playing off of his back in butterfly guard that he is very happy to concede the position and take and look to sweep again. Is that the best strategy for for competition.
Oh, we might see a pretzel pass. Oh.
I mean, maybe on the arm here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good. I think Chris was initially going for a triangle, but Lee managed to change position to that pretzel type pass.
Option for a back take here if Chris can utilize that underhook. Lost now as
nice switch
he
to the
squares
hips.
up that body.
It really is.
Look at this leg. It's very bendy.
I mean, it's kind of hard to work out whose legs are whose in these positions.
Well, I think it is just Chris's top shin that is kind of stopping Lee progressing now. Yeah, now he's into that head and arm kind of position.
Okay, now we have Lee in a much more solid position. He was about to sit backwards for an armbar. Thinks he's a little bit too low down the body. It looks like he's going to try and sit a little bit lower for a knee bar. That's a little bit.
Yeah, he's looking to go towards it now. He's tied up both those legs. If you can, he needs to be careful of the toe hold here, obviously. Into the single leg. This is another leg spaghetti position where I can't really see what's going on.
This is a very close match.
Yeah. Looking for the footlock is Lee. But again, I'm pretty sure this is very similar to the match that we saw with Liam as well. Nice little inversion there. Diving on the toe hold.
So we have about 3.5 minutes left of this match.
Yeah, it looks like Lee might be trying to shoot through to the air. Here we go. Well, that was the Philly saddle just for a split second. Working towards that footlock. And both back into standing. Looked like a failed takedown into a slip. Back into this knee slide position again.
Lee looking like he's starting to pick up a bit more momentum as this match goes on.
Yeah, using that back
dominant on top.
Using that back step to pass the shin. He needs to flatten him out a little bit more. You see how the hips are high so he can get the off balance.
You can't quite see it from this angle. I think he might have tied up an arm on the far side there.
Yeah, he has. He's into that Kimura trap.
I could smell it. Maybe something fishy was going on.
Look into reverse triangle.
Great.
Very nice.
This is a fantastic position.
Yeah. Got to be careful he doesn't slip out from there.
I thought he was going for a wrist lock there. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, why
not?
Right? Why ignore 0.5% of the human body,
Yeah.
I say.
They're great for setting up transitions and other stuff. Trying to
looks like
shoulder
he's going straight armbar on this, yep.
Lost the position though. And now needs to be careful of giving up the back.
I mean, Chris has some making up to do, certainly in this final round.
2 minutes remain. 2 minutes.
2 minutes remain, and we have lost the clock on the screen, but I'll give you a few updates here. 2 minutes remaining.
Just trying to close up this space now.
Yeah, Lee working on his own, Chris working on his own knee slide now.
Yeah, Chris is going to have to really step up.
Yeah, he's in a decent position.
Great position, yeah.
But that bottom arm of Lee's just preventing him from completing that pass. And the hook as well, this near side hook.
And he's got to make sure that if he does get the pass, he's not conceding the sweep. Now's not the time to get put back onto his back in order to get, to try and set up another butterfly sweep. He really needs to try and control the top position.
Yeah.
And realistically, he might need to get to a position where he can try and submit from. There you see.
Beautiful job from Lee.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, kind of old school half guard sweep. Lee is looking a little bit tired, which is not unexpected, but he's still able to do some good work on the bottom and get to this top position again.
Around about a minute left in the match now. And this is going to be a close one. I think Chris probably took the first round. I don't know. I wasn't looking at the clock enough on the second round to kind of have a think who would take that. And obviously so far, Lee certainly winning the third round.
We reckon 30 seconds-ish left, Dan?
About 20 seconds, if my calculations are correct.
Good position for Lee to finish out the match. We can stay on top and stabilise
There
here.
goes the 10-second block.
Yeah, the clacker.
The clacker. That's it, off the ground.
And there you go, a very close back and forth match. Both of these guys leaving everything on the mat. A great start from the hometown hero Chris White, but as the match went on, Lee Herbert starting to come into his own a bit more, and the face of Chris White suggests that he's not happy with that performance. Here you see that Kimura, that was an earlier Kimura attempt. Hopefully we're going to see that Kimura attempt into the reverse triangle. Some beautiful butterfly guard work in the first half of the match. As we've come to expect, here's that reverse triangle. Tries to attack the straight armbar, inverted armbar, and White pulls the head out. And we'll send it down to our judges to give us the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards, and they see it for your winner, Lee Herbert.
And as expected, your winner in his Polaris debut against a solid opponent is Lee Herbert. Upsetting the home crowd, but he's got his supporters over here, and a solid performance.
So I decided to start training jiu-jitsu when I was really young. I was watching the UFC one day on a pay-per-view, and I got inspired by the combat sports since then. Jiu-jitsu's impacted my life by keeping me disciplined and keeping me on track with my external life goals as well. It keeps me disciplined and keeps me out of trouble as well. It's like, it gives me a long-term goal to work towards. The Warrior has been really helpful in terms of supplying me with the correct supplements necessary for training, so a lot of pre-workouts, a lot of post-workout nutrition. So I always feel confident knowing that I've prepared properly for fight with my nutrition and my training, knowing that I'm faster, stronger and fitter than anyone else that steps on the mat with me.
Fully kit out the gym with the best match you've ever seen. Completely upgraded the mat space by about 20 times. Absolutely outdone themselves with everything that they've done. A sprung floor with like best match you can get, Zebra. It's unbelievable what they've done. Honestly, like I've never walked on a mat that's like this before. I cannot wait to watch the reaction of all the fight team as they come in and see it for the first time.
Glad this is it.
It's really special, isn't it?
Sound, isn't it?
The biggest moment of our whole gym's life was at that night for us all.
I can't wait to train on them now.
Our next match is Kevin McAloon from SBG Moray versus Fred Greenall from Scramble Academy Leeds.
Let's welcome, fighting in the blue corner, Kevin McAloon.
Making his first walk to the Polaris mats is Kevin McAloon. Kevin is a former MMA fighter turned professional grappler competing out of Scotland. And if you haven't heard of Kevin, well, it's time you do. He has absolutely killed it on the competition scene over the last couple of years. Holds wins over Shane Curtis, Christian Ozbek, Jack Hassard. Has submitted Ben Bennett via knee bar. I mean, this is a serious grappler, finally making his Polaris debut.
And now let's welcome, fighting in the red corner, Fred Greenall.
And his opponent tonight, returning to the Polaris mats, is Fred Greenall, a very experienced competitor, both in tournament style and in super fights. We've seen him on Polaris on 2 occasions, taking on Kieran and Shane Price, winning both of those matches via submission. He is very dangerous on the legs, and this should be a fantastic matchup between 2 highly skilled black belts.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 6 feet tall, official weight 84 kilos, representing SBG Moray. From Scotland, please welcome Kevin McAloon. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 6 feet 1 inches tall, official weight 85 kilos, representing Scramble Academy Leeds. From the United Kingdom, let's welcome Fred Greenall.
Polaris is supported by Reorg. Reorg work with retired military, police and emergency services suffering from PTSD by introducing them to Jiu-Jitsu.
Great causes, Reorg.
Yeah. It's interesting, a little bit of a slower pace to the start of this match than we've seen in our last ones.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for it. Both of these guys really respecting each other.
Yeah, I believe were they both in the Gorilla tournament that was held recently, Gorilla Invitational. I think Fred ended up making it through to the finals.
Nice. Pass of that arm to take
Nice. So that's that cyborg tornado sweep that we don't often see. Fred, look. I'm not sure who initiated this back attack, but Kevin did a great job of trying to chase it. Fred just blocking with the leg.
Oh, nice. Twisting foot look in. Toe hold.
Working on that toe hold.
I'm not much control of the hips, though.
Needs to be careful, yeah. That is one of the problems when you go for the toe hold. If the person's inverting, it actually puts that first hook in. You can see again, he's using that. Kevin's using that wedge to start to work towards the back. See, he elevates the hips up very nicely. So something we saw Levi Leary, Jones do. Was it Jones Leary? I can never remember which way around it is. Jones Leary. Yeah, Jones Leary did an amazing job in the last Polaris, and we're going to see him later again.
I mean, one of the best back takers in the world, right?
And here, the way he gets under the hips is absolutely phenomenal.
On this straight ankle lock here is Kevin.
Yeah, he's using that butterfly ashy position, using it to come up and get that sweep. Nice job. See Kevin trying to keep that foot off the hip. Try to use it to flatten out Fred.
You can see Kevin keeps trying to get that far side underhook control. Is it the round drag where you push on the arm and underhook through?
I have no idea, Dan. That's your department, not mine.
I need to double check that, because if I'm right on something...
I think it might be, yeah.
Oh, this is exciting. I've never felt this.
I know.
You're losing your
was
touch
it from Jason
man.
Rao?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very technical guard battle between these two.
Yeah, it looked like Kevin was trying to go into that double under position for a moment. Fred did a really good job of just repummeling.
Yeah, you can tell they're really taking their time, waiting for the right moment to go.
Yeah. Looking for that. It's a steamer lock grip again. But you got to pin that far hip to the floor. Obviously, you know all about this, Vanessa.
I know a little bit about the steamer lock, yeah. You could have done with a little bit more twist as well, right?
Yeah.
The body. But he is putting his foot right there where you would expect to see it, yeah. Yeah, we don't do that in the gym that I train at.
The hips are lava.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Kevin really looking for that far side underhook to be able to get into his passing position, and Fred just doing a great job of stopping him from really establishing that control.
Yeah, he's got that underhook De La Riva position. Nice little duck underneath for Kevin, going around the hip.
Very nicely done. Might get back exposure here.
Yeah, he could.
He's going to try and sit through to get his belly to facing him, but unable to do so, and he's got to be very careful of getting his back taken. One hook already established for Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin did a great job of actually not trying to roll through to the back. He just shut down the movement of Fred.
This is really nice. Kevin keeping the shoulder off at the floor. He hasn't quite got that second hook in.
Yeah. Fred's doing a nice job of like treading on the legs though, which prevents that hook.
Can't bring him to the other side though. A real battle of positioning, weight distribution and space. As Kevin McAloon tries to get that second hook on the inside, as Fred Greenall tries to stop him from doing so.
He's got like this false hook in now.
Fred going to try and bring his hips to his right hand side, get his back to the floor and turn into his opponent. The whole time having the fight against the upper body control, making sure that arm can never slip underneath the neck. This is certainly going to secure the second round for Kevin as we, in about 25 seconds, move into the third and final round. First round was very close.
Now both hooks cleared. Much better position for Fred. Nice job.
Nicely done.
Very well escaped.
Pretty much restarting at the exact beginning of the third and final round.
It was a just stand up moment too.
It was a just stand up moment.
Looked like Fred was kind of
looking
trying to come into a K guard kind of position, getting underneath.
You hear both corners saying that it's 1 round each. That's their opinions.
I think you have to assume that if you're Kevin. I mean, certainly the second round went to Kevin. The first round was close, but I don't think it's crazy that it would have gone to Fred. I think it's smart for both of these guys to do everything in their power to try and win the final round, or indeed, if they can, get a submission here.
Fred looking for the 50-50.
And Fred is dangerous on the legs. We've seen him in trouble in matches and seen him come from behind and get the victory via submission on the legs.
Nice little hip escape there from Kevin. He just dropped the knee light inside. It's going to make it much more challenging for Fred to attack the foot.
On the straight ankle again is Kevin McAloon.
Yeah, with that inside hook.
It looks like he's exposing his heel as well, possibly going to an AK lock.
Fred's doing his own leg work.
It's twitching to the toe hold.
And this is
This is pretty good. And the leg is pretty straight too.
Stopping from turning.
See that?
Oh, there's the
beautiful finish.
Wow. I did say that. Never count him out. We've seen it before. Fred Greenall is dangerous on the legs. He's got those come from behind victories before. He's always dangerous, even deep into a match. What an unfortunate turn of events for Kevin McAloon, who was looking fantastic on his Polaris debut.
Yeah, it was going so well. And then
Fred Greenall picks up his third Polaris submission victory in as many matches.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by tap out due to a toe hold, Fred Greenall.
And there you go, 3 for 3 for Fred Greenall. A very, very tough opponent in Kevin McAloon. I hope we see Kevin on the Polaris mats again. He is a great grappler. He's definitely frustrated in that performance, but you've got to give the props to Fred Greenall. Always dangerous. You cannot count him out. Great performance.
So our next match, we have the Battle of the Shanes. Shane Fishman fighting out of ECJJJA and Shane Curtis from Nottingham MMA.
Let's welcome, fighting out the blue corner, Shane Fishman.
First making the walk to the mats is Shane Fishman. Shane, for my money, one of the most slept-on grapplers in the UK. A very, very high-level grappler that doesn't really get the credit he deserves. Maybe after tonight he might do. It's great to see him back on Polaris. We've seen him 2 times on Polaris before. Once on Polaris 12 when he defeated Stefan Petrov via heel hook on the prelims. He's fought his way onto the under 80 kilo, I believe it was, Grand Prix, where he got pretty much the worst draw he could get and took on the eventual winner, Roberto Jimenez, in the first round, losing on points. A very, very high-level grappler, holding 2 submission victories over our main card athlete, Ben Bennett.
And now let's welcome, fighting at the red corner, Shane Curtis.
And his opponent tonight, Goth Lord, Shane Curtis. Representing Nottingham MMA, we've seen Shane on Polaris multiple times. 6 appearances, both gi and no gi, with a 3-3 record. We've seen him on the, we saw him on the original Grand Prix. He then stepped in last at Polaris 27 just recently. At 24 hours notice after one of the athletes missed weight and took on Levi Jones-Leary. Put on a great showing before he succumbed to the famous Leary back-taken finish. Shane is a super unorthodox grappler, very, very accomplished, incredibly active, one of the most active competitors on the scene, renowned for his Goth Lock, which is a Americana from underneath side control, which if Fishman gets to side control, you might see try and be implemented tonight, so keep a lookout for it.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 6 feet tall, official weight 85.5 kilos, representing ECJJA from Canada. Please welcome Shane Fishman. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, official weight 84 kilos, representing Nottingham MMA from the United Kingdom. Let's welcome Shane Curtis.
Lots of support in the house for the very popular Shane Curtis.
Polaris is sponsored by Gentle Art Apparel, a collection of premium clothing by 10-time world champion Roger Gracie.
Never heard of him.
No. So Shane as well, I believe, is known for this position called the fishnet, which is kind of like a reverse lockdown. It's one of those positions that you'll start hearing people like Locke and Giles talk about. It's a very tricky position. You see he's going into that calf crush straight away.
How did he gravitate towards this because of his name?
Yeah, and it's I guess it's on the legs. Looks like you could relate that to tights, I suppose. I don't know. I did not invent it, Vanessa.
Oh.
I missed this.
The fishman.
The fish hook.
The fishman. The fishnet.
Fishnet.
The fishnet. You're telling me that he specializes in a technique called the fishnet, and
so.
it's not named after him?
No, I think it is.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
No, I think Vanessa was questioning why the fishnet.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong.
You take half your name, you add another word to it, doesn't really matter what it
Yeah.
is. Pretty standard way of coming up with these names.
As you're saying, he's a very, very accomplished grappler. You see him win a lot of like the IBJJF Opens. I think he had a pretty successful run in the Nogi Worlds as well, if I remember correctly.
Shane?
Yeah.
Which
Fishman.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Fishman.
We should be going with surnames only for this one.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, Fishman has racked up an incredible record on the competition scene. It's
Nice
good to see
try.
him getting more into the sub-only shows, but he's had a great records on, one of the top grapplers
Yeah, he is.
training out of the UK. when it
Looking
comes
like
to
he's going
IBJJF.
twister.
He's going twister here.
He's setting it up here. You can see Shane is.
This is a great position. This is on.
And he's getting the submission.
Wow. To catch a twister on Shane Curtis, renowned for some of the weirdest submissions.
Yeah.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Crazy. Is that our first official twister on Polaris?
No, it's not. We've had twisters on Polaris.
I know Stevie Ray, who's going to be up later, hit like a modified one.
I think it still counts, but this is what I'm saying, guys. You've got to keep a lookout for Shane Fishman. Super talented grappler, taking care of another talented grappler in Shane Curtis with ease. With the twister, which I personally am a massive fan of. I think it's completely underutilized. People worry so much about getting the second hook in or defending the neck. You can pull up that arm and get that finish there. Great work.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by tap out due to a twister, Shane Fishman.
Shane Fishman with the impressive twister finish there against a solid opponent. And I hope we can see Fishman on the main card again. Hopefully in a super fight. Because he is really one to watch.
Their plan is the first hour starting in about 2-3 minutes. We're going to go through technique, just fundamentals, nice basics. We're going to go through some full guard stuff, and then after drilling, do a few positional rounds from what we've been drilling, and then we're going to go an hour of sparring, balls to the wall, go absolutely fucking mental. Get my opposite leg, which is my right leg on the inside. I was getting used to.
I think it's going to go good. I watched Santelli. I was on Polaris this morning. He goes, he's too physical for Ben. But I don't think he's missed a weight session since January, so he's underestimating his strength. That's what I think.
The secret juice. No label, so you don't know. Use Sada, not approved, yeah? See ya. Lovely. Now it's time to buy some white belts. Let's go! Tell up these Scottish lads coming and try to buy you. Yeah, nice and local, isn't it? Really good. Really looking forward to this match, like I mentioned previously. Nice and local. I've got another lad on there, Mr. Craig. He better get the win or he's on from Jim. But it's good to get like local talent and more local guys from like West Yorkshire on the show, getting more obviously eyes on them, the up and coming grapplers and athletes coming through. It's good to see, and definitely one of the best shows out there. Very good, yeah. Like I was saying as well, I don't really watch much grappling. I haven't really watched much on him, but it's very good. And like I mentioned before as well, I kind of lost the trials, got silver. Previous year he won gold. I kind of see it's like a redemption. I fucked up, but now I can get my revenge that way. I think we're very similar. I think we're both like, all rounded. We're not particular in one area. Like we're not really like just all leg locks. We're very diverse. We can adapt. And like he even mentioned, my game is definitely submission heavy. More even over positions sometimes. Like I always like to hunt for the sub, even if it's kind of my downfall and I get caught. I always like to push the pace and get the sub. I don't really like to win by points. Sometimes maybe you need to do a bit of tactical control, squeeze on for dear life, but I just like to get the sub. And keep like the fans as well, I like to push the pace, make it entertaining and people to enjoy it, not just stall on for one advantage. Thank you, got me a world record now in terms of reach out, about 50 times, just to get back training in. That guy's talking shit, thinks it's too physical for me. I'll show him physical. I'm the typical jiu-jitsu guy, starts crying when you get a bit of a nosebleed. I love it. I think he maybe underestimates me a little bit, but like the aggression and the pace, I like to push a very high pace. And the physicality we'll see on the day, we'll see if he's stronger physical than me. But I'll definitely be pushing the pace. No, it's going to be, well, we're both going to be hungry. It's a 10-minute match, so there won't be no time for like no feeling out process. I think from the get-go, it's just going to be a high pace, high intensity, and getting after it. Come on, progress! Where's the progress? I don't even know what I'm doing till it's done. Really good to get people competition and ready, know the intensity, but like, it's a good pace. It's not like people, I think, they shy away from hard rounds. You're not necessarily going to get injured or anything, it's just upping the intensity, but like a safe pace as well, but we're just getting after it and getting ready for comp as well. It's kind of, you don't want to go like soft in training and then you get to comp and it's like a massive shock when the intensity is like 110%. Because it's very hard to like replicate like competition pace. Like in the gym you think you're going 100%, but then when you step on the mat in competition it's like 150% that you're going and your arms are gassed and you're fucking heavy breathing and everything, just gone to the fucking shit. Yes! What Kieran, I'll break this. Oh, I took this kid. Oh, I just did. I thought it was real.
Do you know how people say like Mad Mondays, it's fucking Mad Wednesdays at Matleo. Ben just rips everyone's heads off. That's why when he's like this, you call him Bradford Beast Ben Bennett. Alliteration there, however you want it, but as I said, it's always solid rounds down at Matleo. Everyone's trying to take each other's heads off. Great training down here. If you want some serious rounds, you need to come down here. Bennett's going to go Platas Santiris, what can I say? It's going to happen. He's going to shock the world. You go ADCC or Craig Jones Invitational. Remember the name Ben Bennett.
What are you doing, man? I know, man. They're coming for me, man. They're hungry. They retire me, aren't they? As I'm getting older and these are getting older as well. They're in the prime. I'm coming out in the prime, or maybe in the prime.
Well, I was going to say, like,
I'm still young to be fair. I'm 30. We're not too old, but
the jiu-jitsu is not.
Yeah, no, it's still in the prime.
It's like you don't understand, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like we all like buzz off each other, you know, enjoy it. That's the main thing I like to focus on as well. Some people, we're still getting ready for comp and that, but actually enjoying what you're doing. Just go balls to the wall, but then push the pace. Especially a massive card as well, like the people on there are actually crazy. So the eyes on this, especially with your Romero competing and stuff, is going to be massive. So a great opportunity to obviously get my name out there, get the win, and just keep the ball rolling from there.
I like talking when you're good at jiu-jitsu. When you shit, you keep your mouth closed, understand?
Definitely, like the level that are local to us, like you said, the people come from all over West Yorkshire to get training. We've got Mark McQueen coming down from Scotland. That's 4 hours Tuesday morning here and then 4 hours back. So we've got loads of people coming and visiting, and the rounds are, you can't get better rounds. Oh. Me before training I had a flat white, Monster energy drink, and then a dry scoop of pre-workout. If I die young, remember me, yeah?
So in our final prelim, we have Julian Espinosa fighting out Renzo Gracie Costa Rica versus Jack Sear from Escapology BJJ.
Let's welcome, fighting in the blue corner, Julian Espinosa.
Making his walk to the Polaris mats for the first time is Julian Espinosa. Very, very excited to have him on Polaris. An exciting up-and-coming grappler. A brown belt no-gi world champion, black belt no-gi European champion. Incredibly high submission rate. Has wins over the likes of Shane Curtis, Tom Halpin, Sam McNally and Camille Wilk. So this kid is a up-and-coming beast. It's great to see him making his Polaris debut tonight.
And now let's welcome, fighting out the red corner, Jack Sear.
And his opponent tonight, returning to the Polaris mats for his 5th appearance, I believe, is Jack Sear. I mean, Tom, you're no stranger to Jack Sear, of course. I'm sitting right next to Jack's coach. Anything you want to say about Jack?
Yeah, I mean, Jack's wanted this match for a long time. They were in, I think it was the featherweight contenders a couple of years ago. They didn't end up facing each other, I don't think. Jack ended up getting to the final and lost to Bar Double Dam, and I think Julian lost to Bar as well. So if someone Jack's wanted to compete against, it's going to be a really entertaining match.
Let's get the action started. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, official weight 69.3 kilos. Representing Renzo Gracie, Costa Rica. From Costa Rica, let's welcome Julian Espinosa. And now his opponent in the red corner. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, official weight 69.2 kilos. Representing Escapology BJJ from the United Kingdom, let's welcome Jack Sear.
This match is brought to you by Warrior. Low sugar, high protein, ridiculously tasty. Try Warrior Crunch protein bars today. So normally Julian is an incredibly dynamic kind of competitor. He's all over the place, jumping at things and trying to pass. It's going to be interesting to see what tactics he takes against Jack. Jack has a crazy dexterity. Yeah. Something we saw in his match with Ash. Ash managed to get to mount and Jack just threaded a foot through and almost entangled Ash's legs.
Yeah, Jack is sort of famed for his incredibly difficult to pass open guard, incredibly flexible.
He actually has a very solid guillotine as well.
I mean, speaking
of him on the front headlock as well.
It
Really nice exchange of going up and down. This is something that we've been trying to work on with Jack for quite a long time, is like connecting his lower body like work, his submissions and his guard play into sweeping and taking down into the front headlock and the back attacks. So it's nice that he's utilizing it here. Julian is also apparently incredibly difficult to leg lock though. Very well versed in this game.
Julian coming up on top to smash these legs past. Switching over, not quite managing to secure the side controls. Cartwheeling over.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about with his passing. Like, he's all over the place. You can see Jack just threading those legs through. Falling back for the footlock is Julian. Jack looks a bit like his leg might be entangled, or I'm not 100%
Very hard to see with both of them.
It looks like they're both on that far side. Or they might both be in between. Again, it is one of the surprising things about Jack where his feet will end up. They are all over the place a lot of the time.
Yeah, black rash guard and black shorts against black rash guard and black spats is a...
But I mean, at least Jack's got the splats on, right? You can tell the legs a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, comms and judges' nightmare as well.
Yeah.
No, I'd say better off without the spats. You can see his legs.
I mean, yeah.
Just floating feet now.
Nice diving front headlock.
Beautifully done.
Into the cow catch. You see, he's working on that headlock. Jack recovers. But this is kind of how Julian plays. You can kind of see how he's diving onto stuff, and if it's not working, he just lets it go, starts to re-engage again. Jack's doing a good job of repummeling his legs every time, though.
I really like that kind of style, you know. I think sometimes being like water isn't a bad thing.
I mean, for him, because he doesn't put so much energy into every attack, it's quite... he's been doing a lot, but he's also kind of not as well. He's not using a lot of intensity while he's doing it. And so he can maintain a very high pace for quite a long time as well. You know, obviously, competing at black belt in IBJJF, that's 10-minute rounds. He's going to be very used to this. Obviously, the other thing is like the points rule set. It kind of forces people to work in a different way. Nice flying attempt, but great little leg up with Jack there, preventing it.
I mean, what we're seeing here is simply someone who would have passed most people's guards by now, who is just struggling to secure a pass position due to the incredible dexterity and mobility and general just guard regain and retention of Jack Sear.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say from training with Jack a lot is if you need to lock him down into a position to pass his guard. This kind of free play actually suits his style quite a lot because he can keep feeding those legs into positions that you wouldn't expect. What Jack needs to do is now get off just this defensive cycle that he's in and get back to like starting to launch his own attacks.
I mean, that is the thing. Jack is not going to be scoring anything favourably in the judges' eyes just from maintaining his guard. He's got to start trying to get some attacks off of his own. And of course, that opens him up to potentially being passed.
Yeah.
Would you say that being on the bottom would favour the old rule set more? Because you've got more options, maybe, submit?
Jack, I know, has been working a lot of like the reverse close guard stuff, which this is a great position to get into. See, he shoots for it there. That's the donkey guard. He's got that leg entanglement now. We see Julian just strips it off, and Jack goes towards the heel. Yeah, I would have liked to, as a coach, from a coach's perspective, I would like Jack to come up on top with that entanglement, which will then force Julian to defend, so he could then re-fall back to the legs. If you're just having that one dimensional attack where you're just going on the legs, it makes it much, much easier to defend.
Mm-hmm.
You want the interplay with all of it, which is what we saw from Jack in one of what was his surname? Jack Hassard in one of the previous matches. He was up, down, attacking the legs, doing everything all over the place. See, Julian's made a little bit of adjustment. He's starting to control the wrists a little bit of Jack to prevent him entangling the legs. Jack's now biting into that De La Riva underhook position. But he doesn't really have control over the far side. Entering in towards the... Yeah, he's used it to go towards 50-50, which is good. But you see how quickly Julian's attacking the leg from those positions. And so even though Jack entered into the position, Julian was already attacking, which forced Jack to defend. So we're coming into this, the final period, I believe, which starts at 3:20. Is that correct, Dan?
That's right.
Yeah, that's the final third. Now Jack inverting. You can hear both the corners now starting to try and encourage them to pick up the speed a little bit. Julian does seem to be taking a little bit of a more of a breather now.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. His output's been incredibly high. Like you said, the style that Sear plays.
Yeah.
Sear almost plays a style that would favour no time limits, right?
Yeah.
Where he's very, very efficient at his guard regain. He forces the opponent to up the intensity in order to try and pass because they feel like they're so close, so they fight harder and harder and harder, but it never, ever pays off. So you can wear your opponent out.
Jack did a great job of entangling this leg. It's a shame he couldn't use it. He was almost in like kind of a bear trap position. But he's now starting to launch a lot more of attacks in Julian. He's got that false sweep position, and he's connecting it from to both sides quite well. But yeah, you can definitely kind of see that Julian isn't as springy as he was. And because Jack's now attacking more, it's forcing him to think a little bit more about what's happening as well. Jack needs to be careful in this position. That's what we were saying earlier, Dan. When you get a bit more aggressive, you can start to give up position. Julian did a good job of capitalizing on a mistake from Jack. Jack looks like he's regaining to half guard now. He needs to keep his... He's potentially going to go into octopus guard here as well. But Julian does a great job of stepping over.
2 minutes to work here. As Espinosa finally gets a dominant position after 8 minutes of hard work. Sear now scrambling to try and regain guard.
Yeah, look like he's going towards like the Dar slash like kind of north-south choke positions where he's tying up an arm and then working from there. But he's also just you see him trying to get that north-south choke there. But that could also allow Jack to recover as well, which it did. And now Julian trying to spin through. Jack needs to stay disciplined.
He just moves the whole
it's beautiful to watch, isn't it?
It is really nice to watch, yeah.
Jack again trying to invert on this. It's a shame because Jack was doing a really good job until he made a little bit of a mistake and it allowed Julian to get past. Here he needs to shoot towards donkey guard and he's in on the leg. This is the best bite of the match so far. And you see Julian wasn't able to react straight away. This is a good position for Jack to be in. He's working towards the opposite leg now and trying to entangle that. And he might try to switch all the way over and start spinning through. He's on the
It would be
kind of a weak toe hold.
Come from behind victory if he was able with a minute left on the clock.
Yeah, but I mean, this is great from
here.
Jack. You know, it's good to see him trying to come up on top. Julian like trying to re-pummel into position. Jack diving on the front headlock. Working into it. Needs to connect it straight to the legs, which he does, which is great. Needs to be very mindful of the leg drag here. You see how Julian's smashing that leg across, and Jack's having to work really, really hard to prevent his hips getting smashed to the side. That's the problem with the outside Ashi. That's why a lot of people started moving away from it. Now he's trying to switch towards an Aoki lock. But this is very much, now Julian's trying to spin towards the back. Jack does a great job of defending. This last period has been very much all Jack, you know. Julian looking towards that Estima lock again. Better position on the Estima lock though. Jack really trying to re-pull in.
And there is time on our feature prelim tonight. A very technical battle between Julian Espinosa and the Polaris veteran Jack Sear. You got to guess that at least the first 2 rounds go to Julian. Jack starts to come into his own a little bit right at the end of the match.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really interesting, even the first round was quite interesting. It was back and forth. There was a lot of movement from Julian where he didn't really accomplish a lot. I guess it really comes down to how the judges score it. Definitely, I think the middle round went to Julian. He was a much more active. And then that final round, he did get top position, but Jack was able to start really re-entangling and tying up his legs as well. So, I don't know. Let's throw it over and see what they say.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards, and they see it for your winner, Julian Espinosa.
Yeah, as we probably thought, Julian got the victory there. But a solid performance from Jack. I was really impressed with the way he worked. Julian just did a great job of capitalizing on a couple of Jack's mistakes.
Let's hear from Julian himself.
I'm here with your winner, Julian Espinosa. Firstly, your first time on Polaris. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you here. How's your experience been?
Polaris has been a dream. I made the contenders 2 times. I think I lost in the semi-finals and finals, so be sure to Polaris for having me here. Also, well, thank you, Jack, for taking the fight. I appreciate you a lot. I want to thank my sponsors, Show Your Roll. Happy birthday, Marcos. Fabian, who is here from FMCC Center. My dentist in Costa Rica, and Henso Grace Academy for supporting me all the time. Also, just wanted to let you know, guys, hope you can visit me at my academy, Arturo's Academy in Henso Gracie, Vienna. We're opening in fall and maybe next year, so hopefully you can visit. And I don't like to make call outs, but I've had like couple chit chats here and there with this person, and he has told me that he wants to fight with me. So I think Polaris is the right scenario to make it happen. So Ashley Williams, where are you at?
I mean, quickly, maybe we'll talk about that in a second, but very quickly, let's just talk through that match. A great performance there, a very, very tough opponent, especially an incredibly flexible, great mobility with the guard, very, very hard to pass there. Give me your thoughts on that match.
Well, I knew it was going to be a hell of a match for passing Jack's guard. I fought him like 2 years ago, and I knew he's a really tough competitor. But it was fun, so I came here to give people a show, and I hope you enjoy it.
And I mean, you've already made the call out. Ash Williams on the main card, maybe in the future. I think he's like a 3-time title holder, so maybe for the title.
Exactly. Let's hope we can make it happen. Thank you, guys.
Well, it's great to have you on here, and I hope to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian Espinosa.
Okay guys, hello everyone. Let's start.
Yeah, leg lock camp really changed my career because I was pretty shit before I started going to this camp. So it definitely, I think it's the best camp in Europe by sparring level, easily the best one so far, and it's cutting edge techniques and very good training. The thing that separates the leg lock camp from other camps is the training. Every round is like a super fight, and we spar pretty hard, and a lot of good people attend these camps, so it's the best one there is.
Yeah, fuck me.
Tell me that Thunder is your daddy. The Polaris is 2 months before the actual show, so I can start the training for MediCC basically with this camp. So it's good. I'm excited for both, and we will have crazy training in Europe for the ADCC. We're gonna train basically everyone 77, 88, 99 who is going to ADCC will more or less train together in Poland and here in Spain. So it's very good. Very excited for that. And if you are very good in Jiu-Jitsu, you can join our camp here in Spain, July 8 to 15.
No. Do it. Come on.
Who's your daddy?
I'm not taking it.
Who's your daddy?
Can't wait for a Berimbolo war. It was supposed to be PJ. PJ won the tournament for 20k Grand Prix, I think last month. But the dates didn't work out for him. He couldn't do it, so we decided to fight with Levi. I mean, the Polaris offered Levi, so I took it. Yeah, I think it's a great matchup in terms of styles because I'm also good in this Berimbolo stuff, so I think it's going to be fun for sure. Hopefully Berimbolo war, man. I can't wait for back take exchanges. We're traveling a lot. We have a lot of leg lock camps. I try to use them as a preparation for my fights. Definitely found some guys who are similar in terms of style to Levi. Of course, their Berimbolo is not as good as his. I think his back takes are one of the best in the world for sure. But yeah, I found some people who can play in this kind of style and try to simulate his game, and I prepare just like this, yeah.
Superman, it's good. Excited to go against Benjamin. Very aggressive. I think he's pretty good, but I think I'm too experienced, too strong, too physical for him. He has very weird style. He does go-go platas and things like this, so I think he can catch you by surprise. But I have experience on my side, so I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be fine.
I've been trying to find this Jed ankle lock from here. Well, I don't know the guy to be honest too much, but I've heard that he had a good ADCC trials run. I think Taylor submitted him in the final, so yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good match, but I think Santeri is going to take it. It bends your leg, right? Or no?
Just gonna go in nice and relaxed first. If it's me, I'm gonna take a collar tie.
There's loads of good gyms now in Yorkshire, and they're all probably 20-30 minutes driving distance from Donna. So they're all gonna be on the card. You got myself, Ben Bennett. You got people from over in Leeds, AVT, Scramble. So all these gyms are local, and I'm pretty sure this show, the last one, will be sold out as well. So the atmosphere is booming, so it's good. It's great to be going back there.
You start wherever you want now, as normal grappling rounds.
The way I compete, just the way I compete. So honestly, I've said this before, I only prepare the same way all the time. I only have one style.
Good mate, it's just fucking carnage when you bring this camera in. Everyone levels up by 50%.
It's been good to have a bit of time to just work on my game a little bit. I've said it before, competing weren't a massive focus of mine, but now I am getting these matches, I'm seeing where I have weaknesses, like we all have weaknesses. So I've had a lot of time to work on my own game. My focus this time will be to do it right and actually just rest and go in fresh. Because a lot of the Polaris in the past, I've just redlined it all the way through and walk uphill and just, yeah, it's not the way. So I've kind of nailed it this time, got all really good quality and hard working. And then I'm still going to have a full week to actually just make sure I do everything right and actually go in fresh and just put on a performance this time.
Jack's a very good grappler, like, he's very all-round Jack as well, so like, when Jack first come here, he was a really good guard player anyway, and then obviously here we're like very wrestling, dominant, being on top, pressure passing. He's kind of built that into his game as well as developing his guard. Mate, Jack will wrestle him, but when it lands on the floor, Jack's very good on the floor. Like, but Jack can go out and pull guard, and his guard's phenomenal as well. So like, my money's on Jack. Yeah.
Jack's just artistic enough.